Hello, and welcome back to Xpwaste, where I completed the quest that gives you the circle of water. I'm Michael.
And I'm Oxie. If you're new around here, hello, welcome. We're a podcast that talks almost entirely about Old School Runescape. That bang you might have just heard is my phone that fell on the ground, so I can sign in and play on that. We're going to get off on tangents, for sure, because that's what we do. And then as we sort of have been saying the last couple of episodes, we might even talk about RS3, so who knows? Strap in, it might be a big one. If you're not new around here, we are joined by the absolute antithesis of Xpwaste, the epitome of efficiency, folks. We have a special guest on today. Do you care to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm a snake. What do you want me to say? Hi guys, my name is Soul Emission, and I've pretty much done it all in RuneScape. And yeah, I wouldn't say I'm too much of an XP waster, to be honest. Especially when, it's time to grind. I'll be there.
When there's time on the line, there's money on the line. The man does not play inefficiently. So this is gonna be a good time, because that's all Michael and I know how to do. He just called the raid quest the quest for the circlet of water. So
Hell yeah. It's a great reward. I mean, screw the Kerosene, Keras Partisan. I'm here for the circlet of water. So I can mine sandstone without
the only person
without
ever
those
that's been
damn water
excited
skins. Literally, I was like, I'm gonna do this quest. Not because I want to go to TOA, not because I need the Kerosene or the Keras Partisan, because I need to get my crafting level up. And the circlet of water is gonna help with that. If I didn't need the circlet, that quest would still be uncompleted right now.
And my man wants to get a quest cape by like the end of the year. So
I do. I want to get it very soon. I have, let's see, I have 110 out of 156 completed, 210 quest points. I actually filtered the list to show like it's like the elf, fairy, frenetic, and then it kind of breaks them up that way versus alphabetical. And I really like that a lot because it gives
the storyline.
Gives you more storyline. Yeah, exactly. And then like if you're doing all of the Majorat quests, I don't know if I said that correctly. It leads up to the pinnacle, which is Desert Treasure 2. But yeah, what do you guys been up to this week?
Well, I have been finishing off my series. I'm doing a quest speed run for anyone that doesn't know. I finished that 2 days ago. So yeah, you might want to tune in and speed up.
Bro, hopefully we'll have the link to that in the description. I'm excited. We as of recording, we haven't seen it yet. But I'm excited to watch it. That crazy strats. Absolutely mad on the strats, but we'll get into that more.
I gotta level with you. That series was stressing me the hell out. I was watching it this morning. I was drinking my morning coffee. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this speedrun thing I've heard about. I was like doing a farm run, watching you like speed through quests, and I was like, shit, I gotta use I don't know, was like I have to be fast watching this, and I really enjoyed it, but it made me like unnecessarily anxious trying to like efficiently teleport. I'm like, I lost ticks harvesting my watermelons. It's fucked. Now what am I gonna do? Like.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been fun, but it's definitely been the sweatiest I've ever played. Like I was literally logging in, looting one birdhouse and logging out for like 3 weeks. I had to train my hunter because that makes it like 700k XP an hour or something stupid. So yeah, I was good.
Just one birdhouse?
Well, I did 3 for a bit, but then I was like, well, I'm going too fast doing 3, so I might as well just start spamming one for the last half of it.
That's crazy.
Oh no, super sweaty.
Mind you, it takes me 3 weeks to remember to do a birdhouse run. So,
do you think after all of this, after the crazy sweaty gameplay, it changed the way you thought about playing the game at all?
To be fair, right, so I've said I'm some sort of sweat, but I actually don't play that much. And when I'm playing just to progress, a lot of the time it is just chilling AFK. And like I'm literally mining a star right now on my pure Iron Man account. So like I could be 3 ticking granite. Do you know what I mean? So like I'm actually I only sweat when it matters. So that's like any sort of new release. So say Leagues or Deadman the Fresh Start Worlds recently, or if it's specifically for some challenge video or like GIELINOR Games or something like that. But like I'll really turn it on, and I love planning to sweat. I think I actually enjoy that more than sweating itself, to be honest.
Like the theory crafting.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think, especially in some of these challenges, like the quest speedrun, for example, you're doing things that I've never done before. So I've never even really 3-tick mined before, but I had to learn it for that. I had to learn 3-tick wood cutting, all these, not 3-tick wood, 1.5-tick wood cutting, all these like weird methods. There was another one where you light fires and you cook at the same time. So you're trading fire making, cooking, do fireborning. That was really fun to learn. And that's why I like doing all these challenge sort of things, because I don't know. I've played the game for so many thousands of hours now that I'm looking for that new stuff, rather than just like sort of grinding away at the same thing. Like I couldn't get 99 mining, three ticking mining, for example. That's just not me at all. But it is me to do it for like 2 hours as part of a challenge thing.
Right, because you only needed, 72 to get the Questscape. So it's not that long. I mean, there's people who'd go to 200 mil.
Oh, yeah. No, that like could never be me. Absolutely not.
Put me in the volcanic mine and I'm happy.
I know. I just don't know how these people's wrists are like. Are they made of steel or something? They could have some
like arthritis.
problems.
Wrists of steel and then focus of steel. I can't like do an activity for longer than like an hour without needing to like stand up and walk around. I'm the worst raid teammate ever. Because I'll do 2 TOBs or 2 TOAs and be like, it sounds like a 20-minute break. I'll be back. They'll send another raid by the time I get back. Yep. I struggle to do that for a really long period of time. I had my first ever experience 3-ticking teaks, or 2-ticking teaks, whatever it was, during our last bingo event. And I don't even know if I was doing it correctly. Because I don't know if you're supposed to get an XP drop every other tick or not. It's a lot. It's a lot.
That's why I enjoyed the speedrun, because it was like log in, you really concentrate for the next 5 minutes, and then you can log out and just chill. So I've actually really enjoyed the past. I mean, it's taken me 2 months because I've been away like so many times, but it's been a really nice way to play it. So I can like do it really intensely. Then there's a lot of planning, because in this speedrun, the quest speedrun, I plan literally every single step. So a lot of what you don't see in the video series is I do a lot of quests chained together at the same time. So I'm doing a step here, a step here, a step here on like 4 different quests, but it's so hard to get that across on video. So I am really logging in and being like, okay, because I can't really use quest helper in those situations either, because you'd start quests off of one quest and then you have to do a step for another quest, and it just gets super confusing. So I was just logging in, doing a little bit, logging out, but it doesn't really come across like that. It's like, oh, he's just completed these 4 quests. Like, cool.
Yeah, the compilation of the one video where all the quest completion screens.
Yeah, that'll be some music. Yeah, some music, and it'll be like complete. But like that was like hours of pain, like organizing, doing the steps and all this stuff.
Quests are the hardest thing to edit in a RuneScape like progress series, because most of it is boring. Most of it is you literally just walking around talking to NPCs. So most of the time it's literally just quest completion.
Yeah, just flashing up the end screen is just the way to do it.
Here's 80 hours of content in like 4 minutes.
And so much lore too. I mean, you could have entire videos just talking about the lore, but that like everybody spacebar's quest, so nobody really cares. And then you obviously didn't have any time to read any quest dialogue because you're trying to get through it.
I've just done these quests so many times. I feel like some certain phrases, I see them flash through the spacebar, and I'm like, yeah, I know that bit off by heart. Like, just because I've done like Desert Treasure like a million times. Like, oh, crazy.
Right. I was doing a quest yesterday, the Darkness of Hallowvale, and I was trying to read it, but I knew I was getting to the end of this guy's dialogue. It was Old Man Raj or something.
Ral, yeah.
I was getting to the end of his dialogue, so I was just spacebarring it, and he said like a funny line. He said something like, talking to people makes me sick. I'm like, that's relatable. I want to screenshot that. But then I spacebarred through it, and I'm really sad because he doesn't say it again. Gone forever. So
time to create a new account, I guess.
There was another quest. I don't remember what it was, but I screenshotted the string of text, your character says, "What are you trying to say?" And the other guy, his name is Thomas Lowry. He says that you look poor, and then your character says, "Oh, and one day I'm gonna use that in a meme, and it's gonna be good." But I just have it saved in my other Discord.
I feel like there are so many little gems in like the chat head bits, because some of the chat heads look very weird as well.
And like Jagex, like developers could just put stuff in there, and knowing people are most likely going to like skip over it, so then it's really a treat for all the people who stay and read it, you know? Like, I love it. I love the fact that they've started to introduce the dialogue of, I need this item, and then your character's like, oh, I happen to have, out of 28 spaces and endless possibilities of items, I happen to have that exact number and quantity, and it's like, really?
I think it's that guy during who is it, Queen of Thieves, where he calls you out if you like have the stew. He's like, that's awfully coincidental. Huh, that's weird.
I think it's a Dork's Quest. The guy's like, wait, you happen to have those? Yeah. So
in Imcatcher, where he thinks you steal the beads. Yep.
I was gonna say that one. The classic.
So you have them already? You talk about the theory crafting. I mean, was this stuff that you've planned months and months and months before? Because like, you don't just wake up on a Monday and be like, I'm gonna get a quest speed run cape, and then on Tuesday you start doing it, right?
Yeah, that's true. I watched a lot of RuneScape YouTube just because it's my job, right? Not to watch RuneScape YouTube, but it's part of like the market research element of it. And I was watching Hibox Younger and JCW and a Cold One, so they were doing max cape speed runs, and the Cold One is doing the Grandmaster Combat Achievement speedrun, so it's Zuckhelm speedrun. And I was watching this series and I was like jealous, because I was like, oh, this is something that I should have thought of and done myself. And I was actually talking to my mum about it, because so my mum actually plays RuneScape, which is I know everyone's always like, oh, what the hell? I could talk about that after this point. So
okay.
And then she was like, well, why didn't you do the quest cape, speedrun the quest cape? And I was like, oh, no one's gonna really care about that, because quests, like we discussed before, quests are hard to make interesting. And like, I'd already well, you only have to look at the quest speedrunning update in game, which nobody is doing pretty much, to see that it's not really got that much appeal to the average person. I'm trying to get as many views as possible. So I kind of like shrugged it off as, oh, I don't think there's enough there to make it interesting. But the more I thought about it, that's when I started planning it. So I was like looking through the methods and little time saves and all those things are the interesting part. So the fast skilling methods, even things like in Shield of Arab, you can just complete the quest on two other accounts and then just trade the certificate over to your main account and then just complete it instantly. What? Stuff like that, like just little cool, interesting bits and bobs. So things like that made it interesting, and there was enough of those. So I was like, I almost planned a lot of the early game out, and then I was like, okay, now there's enough points of interest for me to do this. Even just including random things as well, like I made a gold sink which gave 11,000 construction XP, but it cost 100 mil. So, but like,
oh my god,
so a lot of people watch me. It's not relatable. It's like, oh, what the fuck is this crazy idiot doing? So it's stuff like that, just like lots of points of interest. I was like, yeah, there's enough of them to justify doing it now. And by then I'd already planned it a decent amount.
I do like the fact that it was an any percent, like zero restrictions. Because you could have done it on an Iron Man account, and
it wouldn't be very fast.
It wouldn't be fast, but there wouldn't be the crazy methods like you're talking about, like speeding up construction by spending 100 mil.
God, did it make me miss Mainscape so much. Watching you trade all that stuff over. I've been on my GIM the last couple of weeks. Yeah. I'm like, oh my god, I wish I had to do Morning's End Part 2, all 50 items for the damn Death Talisman. Like, I can't. But
I think
you didn't have to, but we didn't realize that you could use the catalytic talisman or whatever it was from Guardians of the Rift.
And the guy who had the Death Talisman was all right. Like, I did that quest at like 2:00 in the morning. Like, our teammate was already asleep. Like, there was no way I was getting him up to be like, can I have the Death Talisman? Mom says it's my turn. You know? So, for those of you who've been listening for a while, you might remember the Hanani episode where she mentioned that she consulted Solo Mission for her like big event she did, and now we know that YouTubers consult Solo Mission. Solo Mission consults his mom for good content. So, because I was gonna ask, you know, who do you sort of spitball this stuff with other content creators, but you know,
yeah. So going back to that, so my mum plays because I mean it might be the same. Do you guys play back in like 2007, like when you were actually kids?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like it was the same for everyone in like my neighborhood. Everyone was playing, and a couple of the parents jumped on to play as well, just to sort of check that it was like all okay and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like stranger danger online. And then like my mum actually quite enjoyed the game, and I think another one of the dads like enjoyed it and kept playing. And so my mum always used to just like skill and like. She'd like fish lobsters and then sell them in the bank saying, does anyone want to buy my delicious lobsters? All this sort of
so wholesome,
try and get money out of people. And then so she would like skill and stuff. So she played for a bit, and I mean, you think that's wholesome? Wait for this. Like she grinded fishing. She grinded fishing lobsters until she got enough money to buy a whip. And then for one of our birthdays, one of us got a whip. I think it was my brother that got the whip, and I got full white mystic or something. So she gave us a birthday present in RuneScape. But that's like the most memorable birthday present I've got. Like,
oh my god,
so that's
dude,
like
that's
crazy.
amazing.
So yeah, so
shout out to your mom.
So yeah, she knows the game from back then, but then she actually, because I quit for a good few years, and then I got back into it through doing YouTube, and then she started watching my videos, and then she started playing again. So she's played like on and off for the past 2 years or so, and so she kind of knows what's going on.
Secret. Do you guys have like a secret group Iron Man account, like team? Can you imagine like a family group Iron Man account? That would be fun.
Yeah.
Nobody really in my family plays. I mean, my brother kind of does, but yeah, that's fun. Yeah. That is amazing.
No, I mean, wait. Let me look up her account now. She doesn't want anyone to know her.
No, yeah, don't spoil it.
Her name. She's just incognito, just walking around.
It's the best way to do it. It's like being a celebrity amongst men, you know. Like,
yeah, she.
I feel like
you're gonna be impressed by her. She's got 1,869 total on an Iron Man, so like she's actually done quite a lot of the stuff. Right?
Yeah, that is amazing.
kind of fucked up that you had her play Iron Man mode, but you know the 1800s pretty.
She wanted to. Wait, yeah,
because weren't you in Iron Man to start?
I was, yeah, when I came back to the game, but she played like as if she was an Iron Man, like back in the days, like back then she didn't really like trading people and stuff. Like, well, you didn't have the Grand Exchange till 2007. I was
gonna say, trading people back then was scary though. You were getting scammed. You had to talk to people.
True, and it's just long and tedious. Well, there was no GE, so it was like. I don't know, you kind of do a lot of stuff yourself anyway.
God, I do not miss the pre-GE days.
I learned how to type because of RuneScape. Like, I could type selling full rune 180k so quickly. It was insane. Standing outside Varrock West Bank, those are the days. So going back to the Iron Man bit, you started as an Iron Man, you maxed that account, and then, I don't know, one day I saw on YouTube that you decided you were done. You were done with Iron Man.
Yeah.
Was it for content or just because you were done?
So my history with the game is I played from 2004 to 2011. I quit for 4 years, came back in 2015 after watching Boaty videos. So I just got One Man Army recommended to me on YouTube. So I was watching that and I was like, oh, I'll start an Iron Man, why not? So I started Solo Mission, just called it Solo Mission because it's an Iron Man name. It's like a terrible name origin story, really. And I just started AFK in that because I was at university, and while I do like problem sheets and stuff, I was like AFK in that on the side. And I was actually, I mean, not too many people played Iron Man back then, but I was in the top 100 for total levels for I'd say a year or so. And just AFK and stuff. There wasn't as many end game items to go for because there weren't as many raids out. You've got to remember that. So I got to the point where I was making content, so I started a pure Iron Man after I maxed my main Iron Man, which was mostly AFK, not sweaty at all. Like I literally did like Zaya RC and all this sort of stuff. Like and then so I'd made my pure Iron Man, and that was then giving me my Iron Man fix when I started taking content seriously in 2018. And so early 2019 rolls around, and I wasn't playing on my main Iron Man too much, and I didn't have a main. So for content reasons, it just made sense to turn that into a main. And I don't regret it at all. I think it was a fantastic decision, and it's something which is, I definitely had from 2018-19, I definitely had a shift of perspective towards like trying to make content rather than just like being a RuneScaper that uploads YouTube videos. And I think that was one thing where I was like, okay, we're DIing this account. This is what we're all in on, this sort of shit. So that was that's what I did.
Because you gotta be ahead of the curve sometimes with like content. Well, not ahead of the curve, but you have to like follow the curve when a new boss comes out or something. A new item comes out. The GE is the best way to get that.
Yeah.
And it's nobody wants to grind for like 3 weeks just to get the new item and then poof.
Yeah.
Like that's not the hot topic anymore. That's not gonna get the views like it would if you got it within the first hour.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do on an Iron Man.
Unless you get really lucky.
I mean, I did put like 6,000 hours into it. Like a lot of people do. A lot of people will relate to this at some point on their Iron Man. They've maybe completed lots of the God Wars. They've got most of the best in slots, but now guess what? You've got to grind 1,000 hours for a T-bow or a scythe or a shadow,
Torva
and it's like,
grind.
there's Torva and nightmare stuff. So you've just all you've got left are the mega rares, and then it's like, well, I've played through the whole Iron Man experience. Like, I'm just going to be on main now. Like, it happens to quite a few people, I think. So, yeah. Once you put so much time into playing Iron Man like that, it just gets old.
Yeah. I agree. Honestly, I think if Jagex released like an official Bronze Man mode, that it would go over very well with people. Like, you have to get the drop first, or you have to acquire the item first on your own, and then it's unlocked for you to buy or trade from other players. I feel like a lot of people would play that because it's like the best of both worlds. You still feel that sense of accomplishment getting to whatever herb lore level you need to make a brew. But once you have brews, now you can use the money you have to just buy them. And the same, like Iron Man at the end game is literally just like supply-scape.
Yeah.
You're just doing things to get supplies to go back. We have so many Iron Man friends that, like, when we have a bingo event, 2 weeks leading up to bingo is literally just making brews and restores and getting Zora skills and like getting all the supplies they need so that they don't have to take the week of bingo and like re-get supplies. So I totally understand.
Yeah. Zora scales. Oh my god. I used to hate that so much.
I haven't even killed Zora on my Iron Man yet. The Venom, I did one attempt and died. I got Zora like half health in Jad phase and died because I'm using like Ivan's Blast and an MSB or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to wait till someone gets me an anti-venom or a Serpel because I'm not. I play group Iron Man for a reason. The chat knows I'm not an Iron Man fan. There's no teleports ever. It feels like everywhere. It's Walkman mode. I don't know how to get supplies. I've been buying brews on the Grand Exchange for like 5 years. I don't know how to do some of this stuff. The questing element of it is fun, but I'm just so wildly underprepared gear-wise for most of the bosses. Like on Thursday, I was like, oh, if I train my magic, I can definitely do Dragon Slayer 2 this weekend. And I had like 88 combat and 73 range. I'm like, nope. I will get the dog shit slapped out of me if I try to do Dragon Slayer 2. Because like RCB and like adamant bolts are my best bet. So definitely not an Iron Man fan. Though I will say there is a sense of satisfaction that I have said from the beginning definitely exists with Iron Man mode. But like, man. That combined with like the 50s blues, which we talk about for all our mid-game, podcaster listeners, which, by the way, that's mostly who we kind of cater to. Is like the average sort of like mid to late game player. Because that's who we are at heart, regardless of where we are at our account. That is who we are at heart. And that I'm in that like, oh, I need to get like 60 hunter, and that's like 500 chins. That feels like absolutely insurmountable to do 500 chins. I've done like thousands in a weekend, So like it's not like I've never done it before, but like when you're in the mid 50s, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. But I would say I'm an Iron Man at heart, though. I still have a pure Iron Man, so it's 1 defense and 50 attack, and I keep that as like a trophy account. It's an account that I mained for content in sort of 2019, 20 times.
You said so, what attack?
It's 50 attack, 1 defense, and 45 prayer. That's some of the restrictions. So it's always useful for PK. Was the idea behind it. I used to do Bounty Hunter back when it was the old Bounty Hunter, and it was good for this account back then. So nice. I've done a little bit of
Bounty Hunter.
Yeah,
we could talk about that, but Oxie and I literally know nothing.
I was to say, I got much to say. I haven't done it.
No, like I'm the farthest from a PKer. You know, I there's a funny story, we tell it quite often, where we were doing a wilderness bingo, and somebody from the other team was attacking Oxie, and I'm like, I'm gonna help you, Oxie. I'm gonna help you. I spent literally like at least 5 minutes at the GE trying to gear up, trying to buy claws from the GE, and I got there too late. No, actually, no. I got there, but my player attack options were off.
You know how in your quest speedrun video, I'm like seething over here thinking about it. In your quest speedrun video, where you teleport to the what's it called, the little chaos altar thing in the wilderness, and you spec transfer and you go back to your house. How long does that take you, on average?
It's pretty quick. A few seconds.
15 seconds, maybe. 15 seconds to come back with an item. You know, and it's in multi-combat, right? So when the opponent is in one-shot territory with max combat, you think a claw spec would kill him, right? You got to get there first and not take 10 goddamn minutes to sip the spec pool and come back when you have all the stuff in your inventory. That was... That lost us a bingo point there, Michael, because we could have gotten the bonus point for killing someone, the bonus for the 1 mil PK, because we could have got all of his stuff.
Yeah, so that is the epitome of like us in PKing. I mean, Oxie's a little better. He's like got his rune pouch on his own in LMS. I did not. I had somebody else log in and get it for me. But yeah, so have you tried the new Bounty Hunter?
I have. So actually, I played on the first day of release, and then I just uploaded a sort of day of release video, and then I've been playing it on my Pure Iron Man a little bit as well, because I wanted to get the Elder Chaos Robes ornament kits. So, so I now have those. So I'm looking very dripped out and looking very good. So,
that's just no overhead protection prayers, right? In Bounty Hunter, or
yeah, there's no overheads, no freezing. So I actually don't enjoy that style of fighting as much as I like NHing, which is just everything like LMS. I prefer LMS style a lot better, a lot more.
I actually just learned what NHing is.
Yeah,
like,
no honor. No honor, yeah.
It's like you're a true rogue.
Yeah.
It's just so funny that's what they call it, no honor PK. It's like anything goes, I guess. Like there's no honor in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's from back in the days. So most people used to honor PK. So no, they didn't put overhead prayers up. They would like not. You wouldn't be safing, so you wouldn't be eating above a certain hit points and things. Wow. And even to the extent that I think if you were in some clans, you weren't allowed to run from a fight, so you always had to fight to the death and be honorable like that.
Wow.
And that's like a clan.
And no telling away.
It's like a clan requirement. Yeah. But
no, that's our clan. That's our clan requirement here in TNL. You guys better watch yourselves in the wilderness. We're gonna start jumping people like training prayer and stuff like that. And if they don't stay and fight and die, cut, kicked from the clan right there on the spot.
It's so funny. And then people broke off. Are like, "There's no honor in this."
Well, yeah,
that's a good name.
Yeah, because the meta is obviously praying and just ragged and doing whatever it takes, right? So it eventually devolves into that, which is one of the problems of PvP.
Yeah.
My problem I've had with PvP is like the LMS style PKing where everyone is like triberding and switching back and forth. It is nothing like wilderness PvP. It feels like they're completely two different games I'm playing. Because when people run up on me with like the keys over their heads and I'm at, a group boss with friends and we just bolt rag them back, it feels like all we have to do. Whereas in LMS, if someone runs up on me like that, then it becomes a sweat fest. I'm like that guy shaking at his computer, dripping sweat, trying to like switch everything at the same time. It just feels so not the same. And even on the few times we do go out on PKing trips, it's like we're just hybriding range and mage, maybe a DDS just to spice things up a little bit, but like it's not, you know, it just doesn't feel the same with wildy PKing. So I'm interested where Bounty Hunter kind of lies between those two. But
yeah, I think the problem with Bounty Hunter is that it's still got a bit of a sweaty element to it. You will still be fighting people that know how to perfectly time a vengeance for the special attack and eat on a certain at a certain time, so you'll never really kill them. It's just one of those things. Like, people are so good that they'll just steamroll a lot of the competition.
From what I've heard, it's just like Karasi Simulator.
I've seen a lot of that. Like, people voted in the 50% Karasi, and now they're really crying about it. Like, anyone who PK'd back in the day just knew that was a terrible idea, like for balance reasons. But
the spec attack is at 50%.
Yeah, so you can. The problem is you can double it, and it never misses. So it's just disgusting, yeah. But whereas back in the day, so that's the Void Waker. But back in the day, the Karasi was 60% special, so you could just do one special, and it was pretty similar. Okay. So there's a bit more balance.
So the Void Waker now, it came into the game at 50%.
Yeah, it was polled. I think it was either 50 or 60, and people voted 50.
Oh my god!
Yeah, do you think that's going to get nerfed?
I'm curious if it will get nerfed. I actually as like a high level player, I quite like it at 50 because it provides a bit more of it means more people die in the wilderness, because normally you just pray melee and then people just before the Void Waker came out, people would just AGS spec you, and that would be the way they KO you. So as long as you keep your hit points high and pray melee, you used to be kind of fine. But now the Void Waker is magic, so if you get double Void Wakered, like, you're gonna die in that situation. So I actually quite like it that it's 50, but that's only from like a high level perspective of it keeps the fact that people can die. But like I don't know. It just does seem very, very overpowered at the same time.
It's kind of like if you don't have it, you aren't gonna, you don't stand a chance essentially.
Oh yeah.
That's just my outside perspective looking in as somebody who's completely unaware of what actually goes on in the PK community. But I have heard a lot of people be like, yeah, it's like a massive barrier of entry especially in Bounty Hunter. Like it almost seems like all of the things that they put in place to make sure there was risk, the Void Waker kind of doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Because like you can still protect item that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't degrade. You don't lose anything. You don't have to charge it. So it seems kind of odd.
Yeah.
That there's nothing like to prevent that.
Yeah. I mean, you can still use an AGS, which is 50% special, and it does hit higher than a Void Waker. It's just the Void Waker is so consistent, which makes it so incredibly good. And it's still and it's still worth like 200 mil, isn't it? How much is it worth?
It's wild. I got a Venonata's task right now on the main, and one of these weekdays, I stress weekdays very heavily. One of these weekdays, I'm going to go out and actually do that, and hopefully get myself a Void Waker piece.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like on an Iron Man, it's amazing for PVM. It's not as much of a. It's kind of like less hours to go for that than claws, for example. If you can stomach the wildy. It's actually weird. It's wild. This is still 200 mil, and it's like botted so much.
Yeah,
imagine if there weren't any bots.
It'd be like at least 600 mil.
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, it would make the wilderness, more viable and more valuable. Because I think Bodhi brought this up a couple of years ago in a video that like the wilderness ecosystem thrived back in the day because people were really shitty at PKing, and like the best money in the game was in the wilderness. And if that were to be the case again, we'd get more shitty PKers who the good PKers would try to kill because they'd have the keys from the PVMers and all that sort of stuff. But, I think we're moving in that direction. But, yeah, botting is an issue. Though, didn't Mod Ash or somebody recently hint that there's like a bot nuke coming?
Oh, I think he might have said, yeah, he does. Didn't he say something on Twitter about it? I can't remember.
I just saw that on Twitter.
Or
a few
like
days
it
ago,
won't
like-
be this bad for long or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like it's not going to be
Dun, dun,
immediate,
dun.
but like something big is coming to stop the
Yeah.
botting epidemic, and we're like,
Does that mean we should like get a bunch of supplies for merching?
Yeah.
Ooh. Please don't follow me for merching advice.
Not 500 advice.
yeah, it might be the time to stock up now before sharks go from 600 GP to 6,000 GP because
Yeah.
no one's fishing them anymore.
Hey, yo, I have 140,000 raw sharks in my inventory.
You got to cook those,
Not my
Mr.
inventory, in my
200 mil.
bank. I do.
How much have you
Maybe I'll
lost
just-
on that investment? The
Um,
This man gives
I bought
flipping
the-
Old School a run for his money with his merchant
Come
right
on.
here.
come on. I bought them for 500 each, 550 raw, and now raw was like 300 or something.
Wait,
It's
raw
crazy how
shark is
low they got.
300. Oh my god!
Hold
yeah.
on.
It's 387. It says
Please.
on price checker.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So I've lost a couple hundred GP per raw shark, and then cooked obviously went down to, I think cooks are like 600, and at the time at which I was cooking them, they were selling for like 750. So I've lost. I mean, I haven't lost it, right? I still have the sharks.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for content to come out where people are consuming them.
Or the bot.
Regularly again.
The bot day.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
big. Maybe my grand master plan for my billions of GP with pure essence is finally gonna work out. I know the
Hell
pure
yeah.
essence comes from PVM, but like one of these days,
When
pure
that's
essence is gonna
finished.
shoot up to like 12 GP. I'm like,
So,
man,
Or it's like flax.
Bank
as
of
well,
Oxy is
like
gonna
all
be
these
open
things.
for business.
Do you think there's bots running Chambers? Because I know that like Chambers of Xerix is a big supplier of pure essence,
I've got
as well as Zulrah. But
I've got no idea. I think never underestimate what the bots are up to. I don't know.
true. I mean, if bots can run Corrupted Gauntlet,
Yeah.
then there's nothing they can't do.
Yeah, I guess the only thing with Chambers is it's like such a random layout, isn't it? It's different every time, so maybe.
Well, you could
I was
write a
gonna
bot
say,
script that
Yeah,
not
probably.
challenge
scouts for
mode.
you.
Yeah. I don't,
Oh, true.
yeah.
I look at like the botting community, and it just tanks my self-confidence. Like a bot can run Corrupted Gauntlet, but over here struggling. Come on.
I mean, hold on.
Is it
Yeah, they're computers, Michael.
I know.
That's like saying,
but-
damn, dude, I pick up my calculator. I just get so sad because I was so bad at math in high school. Like, what?
but it's a script, right?
Il
So,
mio
like,
fratello
there's-
in Cristo. It's a computer.
Well,
You're a
Should I
person.
not have myself?
Oh,
Should I
very
have more
well.
confidence in
You
myself?
should.
You're gonna have to get used to this with AI and all the rest of it.
True.
Chat
Bro,
GPT is going to
I'm-
write a better podcast than we can. God damn it. You know?
Honestly, Oxy, though, I've been thinking about, like, I saw a video. It's like they use ChatGPT to like give them content for their business, for YouTube and for Twitter and Instagram and stuff. And I'm thinking about doing that. I'm like, we should have an episode or we should have a series of episodes where we take suggestions from AI, and that's the topics that we talk about. It's like AI gave us the topic for this
It
episode.
probably would give you some.
I think it'd be a lot
reasonable
of fun.
ones. I
Yeah.
messed around with it just because I was like, well, what's all the hype about this? And so for one of my sponsored segments, I typed in write a script, a 45-second script for Final Fantasy 14, a sponsored
Yeah.
segment of that, and like it was reasonably good. Like it was pretty cringe. I wouldn't actually read it out, but like as a skeleton, I was like, oh okay. It's like I could see someone read that out, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's definitely AI doing that.
That's the thing. Is I think right now AI is, for a lot of people, it's used as a starting point, and then you put the human touch behind it. My wife and I bought the house that we're in now, and it's common here in the States to like write a letter to the seller to make your offer more favorable.
Wait, you can.
And so
that's
we
crazy.
use
Is that a thing?
yeah
I feel
it
I
is.
feel like
in a
in the UK,
in a competitive
you
market.
don't even have any contact other than like what your offer is. What? So
Yeah, so you send the
Can you
offer-
like write a sob story? Like,
yeah, that's exactly what we did.
oh
We
no.
wrote a letter using like we told ChatGPT to write a letter detailing things like how we love the neighborhood, how we love the house, how we see our son growing up here, making friends, how we have friends in the neighborhood. So like it gave us a starting point, and then we just went in and like Frankensteined a bunch of things together to put this whole letter together, and come to find out from our realtor that actually won us the house. Like, he read the letter, the seller, and was like moved by our story and was like, that's the one we're going to go with.
Wow.
It's crazy. But, you know,
I didn't know that was a thing. That's interesting.
It might not be like super common, but in a competitive market, it can definitely help. It can definitely help.
I guess someone could always just go and post like a handwritten letter through the door or something of the house you want to buy.
Well, we did it in I say letter, but it was more like a
creepy.
Yeah, that would probably lower. No, you do that for the other people.
I'm selling a house.
Write a really cringe letter, and that's come from the other competitors.
I'm selling a house, and people are like sliding notes under my door. Like, I can't wait to watch my son grow up in your house. What the? I'm done. I don't know where I was trying to move to. No more. I don't want anyone creeping in my home at this point. You know.
No, it's not as weird as you think. I mean, it was not like a handwritten letter. It was done through an email, but it was just something that like the idea is that it kind of puts a virtual face to just a bunch of numbers that they're looking at, because you could have 10 offers and they're all exactly the same. And then what is it? Just eeny miny mo to pick the one that you want. Yeah. Versus you have 10 offers and there's one with like a personalized letter, and you're like, I mean, it's the choice.
Yeah.
But that's just one way that I've used AI recently, and I think I don't know if you're on TikTok, Solution, but Oxie and I are on TikTok a lot, and I've been seeing so many videos of Photoshop's generative fill AI thing now. Like, so many people are using it that I'm like, one, it's going to probably put like really good graphic designers and Photoshop artists not out of business, but it's going to make that work a lot easier for them. But two, what is real anymore? What on, like, how are we going to know? There was a TikTok series of this girl who has a mom who's a hairdresser, and all she did was take a selfie, and then she basically formulated this whole story of like photoshopping the background to make it look like she was in the salon. She changed her hair. She photoshopped a hairstylist next to her, and was like sending these pictures to her mom. It's like, hey, trust the process. And then it come to find out the mom believed her, and she was just sitting in her living room taking selfies.
Yeah. I know.
AI is crazy.
Yeah, it makes me like pessimistic about the future of the human race personally. I don't know. If I had a massive red button and I could just stop all AI development now, I probably would press it. Just because... I don't know. So inevitably it will spiral out of control. And also, like you said, you can't trust anything. Like, I mean, you already, when you read something online at the moment anyway, you can't really trust it, right? You're looking, I've said this before, I use the internet now. I think the most valuable part of it, if you're looking at raw information from like first sources, it's good. And it's great to see how people react to things as well. But even then, they could just be like some bots reacting to something. Yeah, I quite enjoy I like seeing how people think and react to stuff, and people's comments and things. It can like challenge your own perspective. But yeah, as for the actual like videos and pictures and I don't know. It's already.
I think the president's playing Minecraft was funny for a while, and then now it's like, oh shit, they have those voices like on file. Like, we could start world wars because some guy in like Arkansas is like, you know what, this will be funny as hell, and then
there was so there was actually this no one talked about this publicly, but there was actually a scammer. So you know how people fish on Twitch. With phishing through like double XP and all that sort of stuff. There was a phishing one on Twitter where they'd taken Torvesta's voice, and it was go to this link, and like you could tell it wasn't Torvesta, but like but it was like a British sounding person. Some things were like it sounded exactly like him, but then a lot of things were like it just sounds kind of British. Like you kind of tell it was fake, but that's only going to get better and better. And they were asking you to sign up on this link and stuff. Like, luckily that like everyone reported it, and it's not really been a thing. But all these problems are coming. So
all three of us in this call right now have enough data with like like we have hundreds of hours of podcasts. You have hundreds of hours potentially of videos with your voice. There's people that could definitely spoof our voices by just running it through a program, and that's terrifying.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. It's also interesting. Like it's a two-sided coin, because if I was ever wanting to be lazy, probably could manufacture an entire podcast using like generative AI, like have two AIs talk for Oxie's voice and my voice, and we could just have an entire podcast that way, and we wouldn't have to lift a finger.
That would
But then
suck.
on the other side, it's
Yeah, who says
That would
about
be
AI right now?
arguably. We've
Can
released.
you prove it?
I'm covered in cat hair now. I'm sorry. My little
Wait,
lady
what's
really
going on
wanted,
down there?
my little lady really wanted attention there for a minute. She's like, for the first time ever in the middle of the show, jumped up and wanted to sit with me for a while.
you don't like turn that away. You don't turn her away when she's trying to get snuggles.
Yeah, which is not very often, because that tricolored bitch does not like physical affection. I love her. I love her more than anything on this whole wide world, by the way. But no, it would just be such a bad episode. Like,
I'm not saying
imagine what AI Michael and Oxie would sound like. Like, Michael.
It might sound
so
good.
I did this skilling activity. Oxie, did I mention I don't like Chambers of Iron Man mode? It would just be shitty. They would like throw random recording booth like chat names in. It would be like, ha ha ha, Mima, what a good comment about Iron Man mode. It'd be so shitty. I mean, granted, it'd flow a little smoother, I would imagine, than that. But like, you're right. I have no way to prove that this is not an AI.
Yeah, you guys aren't even real.
I think one day, if AI gets to the point where, it's this like futuristic dystopia that we've all heard about, where, machines are running everything, it really will make human connection, human interaction, face to face. Like, you think about a live concert versus a CD recording or an MP3. People don't use CDs anymore, but like Spotify, listening to it versus being there with them. Like the live, the live concert will be worth so much more than listening to it on Spotify, because you just have no idea.
Yeah.
There's stories of people making like AI versions of songs and putting it out as if it was that person, and getting in a lot of trouble for that.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
I know.
But it's also
But
going to
hasn't
bring back the human
hasn't
connection.
that how it's always been, though? Like, the minute we started recording music, people were like, this is really cool, but like live music is just something special.
Yeah.
I feel like
I think
AI is not going to make concerts any more awesome, because like, I don't know about you guys, I love live music. I'll go see anybody. And I do mean anybody. I don't like, even if I don't like that particular kind of music, or like I wouldn't like that scene, I would still go. Like my roommate, for example, she's a raver. And she goes to like all sorts of festivals and stuff like that. And there's a festival in Michigan called Electric Forest that people come from like all over the world to come see. It's this big EDM festival in the forest. Who would guess that? I have said, like, if we get an RV, I will go. I'll drive the RV. I'll be the festival mom. I'll keep the water. I'll stand in like the back of the rave crowd on like a hill, so I can like watch and listen and like see all the lights and hear the music. But like, I'll probably have a heart attack if I'm like in the mosh pit with people. I know I'm only 5'6", but like being able to see over the entire crowd is hell on earth. Being close to people, hell on earth. Not a fan. And like, I don't know. I really got to like the music to want to be in that situation. But like a rave, I could pull it off if I have like a chair in the back. I would listen to the music. I'm there for the music, not the experience.
No one's
of everything
ever
else.
said that sentence before. I could pull off a rave if I had a chair. I love that.
Listen, man, I'd be anxious. I'd be sober, and I probably wouldn't be able to hear very well. So like, I just want somewhere to sit down, and I'm set. So I don't think AI is going to make concerts this crazy experience. It's like,
Well, no, I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's going to make it more.
Person-to-person interaction becomes more valuable, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
almost
So
to the
like-
extent that surely the only way out of this is like a rejection of technology of sorts. I don't know. I've thought about this before. It's like I don't see there's any other way around it. You either like get consumed by it or you just stop. I just think it will just progress and progress and progress. But maybe people will all be like Amish or whatever you call those people that just.
So here's a scary and or sad thought, right? I know Michael's going to resonate with this, but I'm interested for you, Solo Mission. An EMP goes off over England, wipes out technology for like the entire portion of Western Europe. What do you do? Because the problem with being so like chronically online like we have, not only like a presence and a fan base, but like we also have like friends and shit. Were you recently in the US for a wedding?
I was,
with a bunch of other RS creators?
Yeah.
Was that you? Were you part of that deal?
That was me, yeah.
Those are all people you met online.
Yeah.
And like all of that just gets wiped out. What happens to like, who you are, the roots you have. That's the one downside of Solo Mission is that window you see things driving by. It's the only sunlight the man gets.
I've never been out. I do know what you mean, and I think that would be your quality of life would be worse in that instance. But I'm talking about maybe you have like, this is going to sound so cringe, but like a 2023 locked like civilization where like you've all agreed that this is the tech we're going up to. We're not going any further than this.
Oh.
So that
no more iPhone 16, 17, 18. We're like,
yeah, like no, like as in like well, no more AI development from here. Like let's keep it all human controlled and everything.
We need like Geneva Convention to like step in and do shit like that.
Yeah, no one's gonna work without like a global scale, are they? It's like everyone has to develop it because other people will just develop it. And, so
you realize when laws come out now to regulate AI, I'm gonna be like, that son of a bitch. This is a 2023 locked world we're living in. You've ruined that for me forever now.
If we could just get to the point where like we don't have to work, but we can still maintain a lifestyle. Like if I can still have my house and I can still live and eat and enjoy life, and I'm not just like on the streets living. If we could do that and not have to work and let
so move outside of the United States is what I'm hearing.
Maybe. But like if AI and robots and things can automate to the point where people don't have to, like spend countless hours of their life at a job that they hate, and those tasks can be automated, but people can still enjoy life. I think that would be a future I would want to live in. Now, that's
2036.
Very optimistic.
I would get a giggle out of a computer trying to do my job. I would definitely get a giggle out of that.
That's true.
Without a doubt, I would laugh just to see what that would be like.
Though. Yeah, but that's job security for you. Like a computer I could be automated. Like I do email support. I do email customer support. There's no reason that I'm doing my job.
And then maybe if you were automated, you could do Corrupted Gauntlet a little bit better. Just like, as a suggestion.
Right? You just get like an implant in your hand next to your mouse, and then you don't have to do anything. You just let the implant
You could turn that plugin off, and then perp would just like be in your head. 3, 2, 1, mage. You'd be fine.
Oh my god. Yeah, I guess I'm just super pessimistic. I think it will progress to the point where it can do any job. It can be Solo Mission. It can be whatever else. It can deal with any social situation. I don't know. I'm very doom glasses on.
When y'all start going to therapy with a computer as your therapist, and that's fine, I hope I'm dead. Like that's where I'm at. Like I hope I'm long in the ground before someone's like, yeah, man, I went to therapy with my AI companion. I feel so much better.
I don't know. I don't want to spoil it, but in the Star Wars, what was it? The new Mandalorian season, where the guy was doing therapy with a robot. That's how I think about it. It's not good.
What?
It was in the new Mandalorian season 3. It was like the rehab program for old Empire.
Oh, right. Yeah. The New Republic
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And he sits down. It's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel?
Well, that seems more like an
9.
HR. Like, I've heard humans talk like that. You know, when you lack empathy, you sound like a robot. That's how being a person works, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I just. Ugh.
All right, gents, quickly. What's the best way to get to the bandit camp?
Which bandit camp?
Oh, in the desert. I want to get to the quarry.
You want a group Iron Man?
Probably Temporos.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't have a shanty pass to get out. Does he sell them?
They sell them at the gate.
BIQ
Okay,
ferry ring's
okay.
pretty quick as well.
I'll do BIQ because I'm already at the ferry. Thank you.
There you go.
I have 4,800 buckets of sand that TMD is going to turn into sand or glass for me. It's going to be great.
Hey, I've got to get 77 so I can just super glass make myself. Because I'd love for TMD to do it for me. But I also
But that's
need
free
the
mage
additional
XP.
crafting XP and the mage XP. So, like, oh, man, I've got to train my account. This sucks. having to actually play RuneScape.
Why are
Man,
you
it's
playing
terrible.
group Iron Man?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why am I playing group Iron Man? I got bullied. My group mates were like, "Oh, let's get back into groupies," and I was like, "You guys have fun." And then they're just like, "Oxie, we miss you. We want you to come back." So
It's true. I can't deny that.
I've been like,
can't deny that.
I have a real problem accepting gifts from people or things that I
It's not even
perceive as gifts. So like, people will be like, "Oh, there's planks in the shared for your construction." I'm like, "For whose construction?" They're like, "Yours." I'm like, "F that. I can get my own planks." They're like, please take them. There's too many in there. Like, please.
Yeah.
It makes it really hard to be your teammate, Oxy.
Listen, I have outfitted
He's just playing
you guys
Iron Man.
pretty well. I've outfitted you guys pretty well with gear. I'm currently searching for my third pair of tank legs. That's so
Listen.
help me God. When I get this third pair of tank legs,
Listen.
I'm going to make you and Scape sign an agreement that you have your own pair now and you don't need any more from me. Like, we're good.
The significance of this solo mission is I asked for the legs for 10 minutes so I could do Beneath Cursed Sands. And he's like, okay, they're in the shared.
They're
I'm gonna
gone.
Go get my
They're
pair
gone
now.
forever. Like,
This is not like a deposit system where you lose it. It's they're already back
the
and
group
fully
group
repaired.
storage for my gear might as well be Death's Coffer at this point.
They're yours.
Once it's in, it's gotta, I gotta work to go get
Ridiculous.
another. I gotta get down to DKs to get another Berserker ring. Like, I got stuff to do. You good, homeboy? What are you looking at?
This man charges money. You have to give him the sand and the buckets, and he still charges you 50 GP?
Yup.
He just ran all the way there.
Come on. I didn't bring any money.
Welcome to Iron Man mode, Michael.
We love
This is
Iron Man.
amazing. This is great. Okay. Well, I'm going to get some GP. Solo mission, there's a lot of YouTubers starting group Iron Man accounts together.
Oh yeah.
What is, of a team of 4, what is your perfect group Iron Man group with just content creators?
and I swear to God, if you say myself 5 times, I'm gonna
I mean,
scream.
I've already done it. I've already done that.
He's done.
I know. I
I
watched the
literally
series.
did
I
that on
loved
release.
it.
Oh my god. Well, it depends what the aims were. So I prioritize YouTube above everything else, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be looking for people that don't make YouTube videos that are big streamers.
Nice.
That doesn't.
Okay.
I don't think that's a massive.
So you can have
pool
all
of
the YouTube
people.
content?
Yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah. So
So here's an idea for you, and this one's for free, okay? I thought about this when Group Iron Man came out, and I pitched it to the guys, and they're like, absolutely not. But take region locked, and then split your group up into 4 regions. Everybody has to have a bank access, right? But you can't leave your region. So if you need something, you have to rely on another person in another region to grab it for you, put it in shared, and then you can like trade items back and forth that way.
yeah, I like that. If I did it, I'd do something like that. And I've like thought about that stuff. I've thought about what if you have someone can only use range, someone can only use melee, and someone can only use mage. And then
like a D&D style.
So then you can have 3 YouTubers, and then each journey is different. And so that solves the problem of everyone watching one video and be like, oh, I've seen all the group's progress, because everyone has a different journey within it.
Right.
So
I kind of feel like that with the farmers. It's like, whose video or whose stream do you watch? Because they're all kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah. I think that, and it splits the audience between them all. And if you want like as many views as possible, like me, it doesn't work as well. So yeah, I think a region one would be cool. No one has really done that on like a big scale, as far as I can remember.
Right.
I don't think.
I think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it would be content that would, because everybody freaking loves region locked. People go crazy for it. Oh my gosh, that was 300K. I'm poor. I had 400K to my name.
The sad saga.
Oh my god.
Iron Man mode, baby.
Oh my gosh.
Oh god.
All for crafting, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to get the crafting level somehow. Anyway, people go crazy for region lock, so it kind of just up the ante a bit, which I think would be amazing.
Yeah.
I would love to play on that account, like not for content, but just to kind of have the theory crafting sessions. Your group chat would be off the chain, like, hey guys, I need a bucket, but I don't have a shop near me. Who's got a bucket? That's very
stuff
basic,
like that
but
would be cool.
Yep. You would never interact in person, in the game at least.
I wish I could say that I would love to do that, because it sounds like a really cool thing. Like, holy shit, that's such a good idea to watch. Playing it, I think I would go insane. I don't know.
The fact that you can't take your legs back is just kind of proof.
Well, like, okay, I need something from the Mauritania region. Like, sure, someone hooks us up with like armor from Barrows. Let's say I get like, I don't know, I get the Fremennik Asgarnia-ish area, whatever it is, or I'd get the let's call it the Fremennik area. How do you train mining? How do you train? What do you just like cut maples until 99? Like, what happens? Like, how do you
not knowing is what makes it so interesting, though. That's what.
But then knowing makes it worse. When you're like, oh, cool, the best mining XP I have is 7K an hour with tin ore until 70 when I can mine adamant. Like, that just
mining.
Sucks.
Yeah, but then you don't be the miner. Someone else can be the miner. You can give that to
that's what I'm saying. Mining
designator.
is not your job. Yeah. Whoever has Falador, that's their job. Like, you would obviously you would need to like for the quests in your region, like you would obviously need to have certain skills unlocked to do those. But you're obviously like, the goal is not to max your account, because that's impossible. So it would be different tasks. If you were the guy that was the mining bot, you would need to be in the region that has that. I can get you guys 110, but that's I'm at max capacity now. I
can't wait for the wet group Iron Man team to come out, where it's just like
sailing
port and sailing locked Iron Man or whatever.
Sailing locked. Oh my god,
that's awesome.
Probably my most unpopular opinion, at least on the side of Twitter that I'm on. I'm fucking stoked for sailing.
Oh, same. I can't wait for it.
I think it's gonna be fun as hell. Did you watch the video they released, like talking about how it's gonna be? No, because they do this really cool thing where like they're 5 hours ahead of me, so they do all their live streams and shit like in the middle of my workday, and I can't like be like, all right, hold on, I know I'm in session, but like f off, kid, this RuneScape thing is coming up. So
you're cured. You don't need therapy.
Yeah, 20 minutes into my 10:30 session, tell some kid to like go back to class and like do whatever. No, but I've seen some of the slides and things like that, and Michael can tell you, I've been relatively optimistic about the new skill all year long. Let me back up. I've been optimistic about the skill, not the process, because I still have a sneaking suspicion that there's a good majority of the community who are like, this is a mini game, Agility 2.0. This is so stupid. I want Shamanism, the skill. And we're going to just have to do all this shit over again. in July.
I don't know. My optimism is at all-time high right now. After watching that video, it's one of the designing. It's either Gentle Tractor or Screetmonge or somewhat one of those types of people that does the people do the huge Reddit posts.
Yeah,
they were voicing over a video and they were using Old School RuneScape assets to show the sailing motion, so you could walk around on your ship and your ship was sailing. I don't know. I just got to be hyped up. I'm a big fan.
I'm so excited to get on the boat with the boys and just like you waste all our cannonballs on like Krakens and shit. I cannot wait. But I don't know. I'm hoping it doesn't receive as much negative feedback as what I've been seeing, because there are very few people, specifically on my Twitter feed, who are excited for sailing. I don't know what the requirement of being on the Bird app and hating the new skill. I don't know when that happened, but it's brutal. You know,
that's the thing with Twitter. Everyone hates everything.
Does Reddit hate it?
Does Reddit like anything?
I don't know, actually. Reddit usually is like mixed.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that people, well, I don't know. If they watch that video, they'll be like, let's go. It's time to sail the seas, man.
Yeah, the core gameplay, it seemed interesting because they actually pitched like their thoughts on what training the skill could look like. In it, I get a lot of crap for having max brain. Like, I'm maxed, so I have no opinion on early level skilling. But I do, like, I have an Iron Man account, and I'm gonna do sailing. So they talked about like a sepulcher type, like, I don't know. It looks like sepulcher thing, in the water. What? Yeah, okay. Like where you're sailing around dodging obstacles, and it's like it takes a lot of intense focus, and that's not what I thought of when they said sailing.
There'll be some chill things as well, though, I'm sure. I don't know. Yeah. I trust the team, and for me, I think a new skill coming to Old School is just so it's the biggest thing they can do, and it's been the biggest thing they could the biggest next step for the past 5 years. Like, every time I've been to Giants, I'm like, you guys gonna release another skill soon, aren't you? Like, like you guys, you know, like, it's coming. I was talking to Goblin about the you know how they do those summits. Was it the Winter Summit? And then that's when they announced the new skills. And before it, I was like, haha, yeah, I can't wait to hear about the new skill. I was like, they're going to keep on coming back and back because it's the biggest update the game could ever have at this point, I think.
I guess the question once, you know, if the new skill passes, right? If all these refinements, which God, I hope they go through, if they all go through and the new skill gets put into the game, what's next? What is the next biggest update? Other than like
thing.
We got to update the combat system. Like, I don't know what else comes after that.
That's good. Like, they've got plans. They've got plans. I'm not NDA'd on some stuff that I can't talk about, but I think.
Oh, like, wow, this man signed actual NDAs. Yeah, not like a recording booth chat NDA.
They're thinking about things like 5 years out. Like, they're on it. The JMods are on it, definitely.
Okay,
that's great.
Yeah.
So, because weren't you there for testing, like raids testing?
Yeah, so I play tested Tombs of a Mascot, which was very interesting. So you get all this insight into Jagex. I mean, just being at Jagex HQ is like crazy cool, like, and meeting the JMods really and stuff, and just having conversations with the JMods. It just gives me so much confidence about the game. I know a lot of people can get pessimistic that they just don't know what they're doing, but they're taking information in from everywhere, and I'd say for the most part they do make the right decisions on things and have the right calls, and they know so much about. I mean, look at the game. The game's thriving after 10 years. Like, no one could have predicted this. I think they've done a great job personally.
Yeah. We are JMod enjoyers on this podcast.
You are, okay.
Crap for like licking and stuff.
We've had some rough patches. R.I.P. the old blowpipe. We've had some rough patches.
Oh man!
But you know, we understand when things need to happen for the good of the game, and it's really been hard to pick a bad update that they've done. I would say probably PvP Arena has been the worst update I've seen since the pandemic days of Jagex. And I think that's mostly the community's fault for PvP Arena being so bad, because they voted yes for the content and then no for literally every single reward.
Yeah.
So,
well, I've been in discussions about PvP for years, and that's something people said they wanted for years and years and years and years, banging on about it. And so Jake's finally like, fine, well, we are listening to you. We'll do it. Because the PvP community often is like, we're never listened to, we never get updates, blah, 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 all that. So they do it, and then it flops. Like, and then the PvP community would say, well, there's no rewards and the ranking system isn't actually proper. But I don't know, they delivered a lot. And I remember being in calls where people like, yeah, but people just like flex their rank and they'll do it for like the love of their rank and stuff. Thinking like, well, like it's because when you're talking about what future content is going to be, you can't tell. It's all opinion based, and like, but that was a thing that constantly suggested for years, and then they put it out and it has flopped, unfortunately.
I mean, I think there's ways to recover it, because I think people would want to flex their rank, but the game itself needs more ways to show that. Like, Old School's got to move to kind of like how RS3 has like done like the nameplate thing. You know, solo mission to Sweaty, or like Michael the Maxed or something like that. We need something like that where it's like, you know, a Harbinger of Doom, or like Emir's, you know, student or something, where it really shows like, hey, you're the highest rank at the PvP arena. Because that's why a lot of the big untradeable flexes are so cool, is because people can see them. You know, no one's going to look up everyone, be like, what's your PvP high score? Like, they want to be able to see that you got this really cool high-ranked item, or high-ranked transmog or nameplate or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things where people love to complain about JX, but that was them listening to the players.
Yeah, and again, I think that was mostly the community's fault why that went so south, is because we voted on the rewards, or the lack thereof as far as rewards are concerned. You know. And some of the ornament kits do look a little weird. I don't really like the Dragon Claws ornament kit myself, but like, that's just personal preference. That's not a bad update.
Some of the ornament kits look so much better when they polled them, and then they came out and they look worse, I thought. Like I think the claws looked better before, and the Elder Robes were like blacker, and now they're kind of grey. Well,
they've been having a problem with that the last couple of years. They can't get the color black right. Remember the old like the black Graceful that first came out? When it was the weird like smoky gray for a while.
Yeah, it's sort of that color I'm talking about. I don't know.
I'm Googling what the Dragon Claws look like.
I've
not seen any of these ornament kits.
You might see the pre one. There's one like some Wolverine claws.
Why?
Let me see.
Interesting. Yeah, they just look like metal spikes.
Yeah.
Huh. So this is in the game right now?
Yeah.
Or did
depending on which one you're looking at.
There's one for Bounty Hunter.
Oh, it was the proposed. Okay.
Yeah. The one for Bounty Hunter kind of looks like there's a weird like knuckle on the claws, and that just throws me off. But yeah, I would hope that they put their best foot forward for sailing, and I think they have. I just think we need to have a beta. We need to have like a play test. They need to bring the most like pessimistic people into play test. So like the really loud pessimistic, creators can be like, wait, hold on, this shit's actually kind of fun. Like this is going to make for a good skill. And then everyone will come together and be like, this is going to be awesome. So question for you, I know you like to go hard when the time comes. Are you going to race to be the first 99 for sale?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think I'm going to win, but I'm going to try.
I can't wait to see
try my hardest.
The thumbnail with your name being at number 1.
Oh, you already know.
I'll
be logging in and out every 5 minutes to try and get that.
But as long as it doesn't end like the Shattered Relics with the Rune Cup, as long as it doesn't end like that.
No, that's a meme now. I can't get the Dragon Trophy. I have to get Rune every time. It's not allowed. But yeah, I would love to be the first to 99, but I just know it's not going to happen. And I'd say the primary reason why is because people will definitely cheat and they'll just be account sharing. And also, I have to make videos. I'm not just going to release a video at 99. I have to make like 3 videos to get at 99. So I'd say if I can be within the top sort of 10, I'd be happy. And like maybe be rank 1 at some point. That'd be pretty nice. But
as I say, that's not to say that you can't go for that post 99 XP, You might not be first to 99, but you could be first to you could be first at 200 mil. Who knows?
I can go hard for maybe 3 weeks at a stretch, but I can't go hard for like 4 months. My girlfriend would kill me. I'm definitely not about that.
So you just need to feed your mom supplies so that she can get rank 1.
Yeah, account share with your mom. That's perfect.
Yeah. Oh my god. I mean,
how long do you think it's going to take? How long do we think? You said 4 months, but
oh no, it's not going to take 4 months. I was just like, I think there's no way it's not less than 150k XP an hour, surely.
Okay, so then
there's no way they're going to release a slow skill. I wouldn't think. I'd say it's going to be less than that.
I hope they don't. Gosh, darn it. If they do this where it's like that 30k XP per hour bull crap that they have at freaking Soul Runes.
Yeah, no.
Blood
I
Runes
don't
are
think so.
30k an hour. Oh my god.
I mean, in my opinion, it should sort of like scale up. Like it shouldn't be you get the best XP an hour at level 30. It should just it should be constantly progressing. So like when you're level 90, you can get 300k XP an hour. But right at the start, like every level feels like meaningful progression. So you start off, you can't just get 100k an hour off the bat like you can in so many skills. I think if they start with like 10k and like slow and slow, so the whole journey was 100 hours, but like it was a lot more spread
97
out.
hours to get to 96, and then the last 3 hours
so
you're just
the last bit should be very rapid, because I don't think does anyone get that much enjoyment out of training from 90 to 99? I don't think they really do.
No.
If there's good unlocks, but I can't think of a whole lot of skills that have things that are like 90 plus with worthwhile updates, like Floor 5 Sepulcher, Hydra,
Redwoods.
Yeah, well that's AFK,
Getting 290, but
yeah, it's like if there's a timeline of 1 to 99, in an ideal world, in my opinion, you should be training with like 5 or 6 different methods if you're going efficiently. And then so you're actually doing different things for the whole grind, not just, we've unlocked teaks, now we can just do this one.
Do this like, forever.
I hate that, but that's not, they didn't design it like that. That's just people going back and then breaking the game.
Yeah.
But if it's actually a new skill, they should be able to design it so it's actually the progression's there.
We've definitely talked about this, like how Herbivore scales with your level. Like, yes, you start training at level 80, but every time you level, it adds a percentage, and it scales meaningfully from 80 to 99 to where you can do Herbivore and you're not stuck getting the same XP rate.
Yeah.
But so it's still the same method, which kind of sucks. And like with the alternative being birdhouses, which like also not great, but do we think it's going to be 150k an hour at like the base average player? You come home from work, you get 150k an hour training sailing, or do we think it's going to be like, with like a chill AFK method, you get like 60 or 70k an hour, or like the basic, play, but there's a way to like tick manipulate the fucking waves so you can like be on 2 tiles at once and do all sort of crazy whatever. That's the like, your lava rune crafting, your 1.5 tick, teaks or swordfish or whatever it is. Do we think it's going to be more like to get the higher end, you really have to do the tick manipulation? Or do we think now that that's kind of like a thing in the game? Because everyone always says, what would you do if you went back to like 2006 with the training methods we have now? You get banned, because the Gower brothers would be like, oh, you're cheating, just ban you from the game. Now that the Jagex team knows and is okay with the fact that people are going to go above and beyond to try to get the fastest XP, do you think they're going to kind of work that in? Or
I feel like if there's tick manipulation stuff which speeds it up by 100%, for example, I think they'll patch it, to be honest. I don't think they'll, because part of the reason why all these tick manipulation things are still in is because they've been in for so many years, and some of them are a decent balance. But when it's something new, they can just control the balance. They can just be like, well, no, you can't tick manipulate that. It's like when Volcano came out, you could tick manipulate it, but then they didn't want to have to balance around that, so they were like, well, no, you can't anymore, and they just updated it because it's new content.
How could you tick manipulate Volcano?
I think you could do like herb tar and moving. You know how you can sort of get double essence and all these sort of It's like 1.5 ticks. This is essentially the same thing. I think it was,
but with the little mining nodes at the beginning of each phase.
Yeah, possibly that. I don't know. I didn't even do it for.
I had
ages,
I had 400 total level when Song of the Elves came out. I wasn't there.
Yeah, but like when they can make changes really early on, when people don't already they haven't like done 1,000 hours to get 200 mil of something. Like that's when it gets a bit more. People are a bit more precious about their whatever XP rates. So I don't know. I trust them to sail us in the right direction.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, they play the game. They know all this stuff exists, and they literally have a blank slate to be able to design the content how the community wants it, but also how they foresee this skill being trained, and all of the little quirks that you have. Again, it's been in the game for so long, they can't do anything about it. It just so happens that these, like, they can work around it.
Yeah.
It's kind of how like they can work around prayer flicking, or I know that the method where you basically don't drain any prayer points, but you're still utilizing the prayer. On the new prayer book, they could work around that to where you can't. That mechanic just doesn't work, and it's totally fine.
I think they have a consideration for things as well. So a lot of what higher level players think of as great gameplay is like emergent gameplay. Like Jagex never intended you to be able to solo Ohm in Chambers of Xeric by like running and moving the head and things like that. That was never intended.
Yeah.
But it's actually it offers a good balance and it's good content, but it's just emergent gameplay that like all of a sudden just became good. It's the same thing with like something like Zarpus when your movement with a scythe. And the things that people love about these raids is that emergent gameplay. And when we were playtesting Raids 3, it's really difficult because we're like, yeah, it's good. And I think it's Asikon was saying that it's hard to tell because we don't know what crazy strategies there are going to be. And then they're going to be the ones that people do. So it's like when we were playtesting, we weren't thinking about like the butterfly Akka method where you run around in a diamond and you never get hit. But actually, I think that offers good balance at this point as a method, and I find it enjoyable anyway to put that extra effort in to not get hit, and stuff like that's really good. But you just can't. It's hard for them to sort of design a boss, which means you can end up finding something a week down the road, and then it just ends up being like some interesting high action method. So yeah, I don't know. It's a really tough one. And I think if things are too strong, they would patch them. So Butterfly Akka, they did patch it, but they made it so it does a special every now and then, but you can still butterfly.
Gotcha. Like it's not just easy free. I have a question as far as like the play testing you guys did. Yeah. Are you able to talk about that?
Yeah. I think I can say anything pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So was there anything that you guys saw within the raid and gave feedback on that was changed?
Quite a considerable amount. So,
really?
So play testing is a whole thing, right? So there's 8 of us. We were playing in 2 teams of 4, doing Tombs of Massacre. On the first play test, we only played through the demi bosses, and one really interesting weird thing about play testing is that. So, for example, when you're in Baba, you're just stabbing him, right? And then he does the rubble attack, but they don't have the graphics made yet, so they use placeholder graphics. Oh. So for that, it was Seg balls from Theatre of Blood, and so the mechanic with that you normally do is everyone has to group up, and then that nullifies the damage. So they had that graphic, and everyone just runs together, and we all just die. It makes it so difficult. It's like, oh my god, like to get instantly playtesting. It's like trying to get used to it. Like we went into Zabak, and the model wasn't made, so they just use a mutter dial from Chambers of Xeric. Like, things like that is really interesting. And also, I feel like when TOA came out, Ambrosia was really, really good, and I was like, oh, it's broken because you've got so many Ambrosias. But I think we kind of missed that in playtesting because the Ambrosia item in your inventory was molten glass. And when you're PVMing, whose instinct is it to click the molten glass? I think like by then we're like, oh, this is kind of broken, this is kind of cracked, but like we weren't using it, we weren't properly utilizing it for ages. So I say that's a funny thing
That's
about
so
playtesting.
funny.
There's all sorts of other assets. You could have used any other consumable item in the game.
I know.
You could have used a defense.
There's
super
also
strike
there's a
potion.
falling rock animation in Zalcano. There's one for Grotesque Guardians. Why did they choose the DD ball? I don't know.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny. I think that was Zuck balls and something else. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. But yeah. But anyway, so that was the Ambrosia fiasco. I feel like we kind of missed that because it was. I'm never clicking molten glass in my inventory. There's just like thousands of hours of playing this game. I can't bring myself to click that. So
hilarious.
As for changes, so the Baba waves that everyone goes on about hating that they're so long, that used to be twice as long, and we were all saying this can't be this long. It's way too long. And even
the little monkeys.
yeah, and so that's been cut in half the time, and people still say it's too long.
I think it's too long.
Yeah,
my least favorite. My least
doesn't-
favorite.
It doesn't match up with the other
Yeah.
rooms for pacing, so I think that still could do with a change. So there was that one in the in Baba itself. So this is something I think they struggle with the time that they can get out of the artists. I think the artists hold back a lot of the stuff that comes out. So this is an example. So in Baba, you had the monkeys running around, and if you didn't kill the monkeys, they would form a baboon tower. So they stand on top of each other and become like really strong. But they didn't. I think they ended up scrapping that because they couldn't get the art time to make the baboon tower.
Aw.
So
Can you imagine?
So yeah, that was
That'd be so cool.
that wasn't a thing in the end. Baba, you know how Baba does the floor attack? That actually used to be every single attack that Baba did. That was the attack. It would like headbutt you and do the floor at the same time, like every single one.
Oh my goodness.
And it was just a bit obnoxious to deal with. So it's a bit more chill now, and I think the pacing's a lot better now. The minions in Kefri were so tanky. So you'd often play completely perfectly. Everyone would be stabbing the mage minion, and it just flies and then just bombs everyone. It just wipes the raid. That was an issue. Those were way too tanky. Zabak was pretty much perfect. It's pretty much exactly the same how it was on our first playtest, and that was everyone's favorite who went. Akka is kind of similar. My feedback was I hated the white balls. I thought it was like a bit too crazy, and they could cut down that phase a bit, or at least give a better visual indicator of where they're going and stuff like that. But that Akka is pretty much what we played, and I think everyone enjoyed that the most. I'd still say that's my favorite demi-boss now. One thing I wish they let us do was play around with the invocations a bit more, because what they did was they just set what they thought would be a standard set of invocations and just let us run that for the most of the time. And then we couldn't really play around too much. And one thing which was like, is a reason why I have playtesters is in the last hour on the last day, they let us play around for a bit, and I was like, I'm going to send a solo. I'm going to pick my own invocations here. And they used to have all the stats for the bosses wrapped up in the invocation system. So for example, you would turn on an invocation for plus 20% strength, plus 20% attack, plus 20% defense, plus 20% hit points. So what I did was I turned off all of the stat invocations and turned on all of the mechanic ones. And so I just soloed like a 300 easily, because I didn't even have to engage with the mechanics because they were hitting nothing and they had no hit points and no defense. So I was like, well, this is like, I did that and I was like, well, this is kind of broken. you just need to reconfigure the entire invocation system, and then we just left. And I was like, okay, but I think they ended up doing a pretty decent job with that. So
yeah,
they're the main things.
So cool.
Oh no, the final boss. No, there were two playtests. So there was the first playtest where we just did the demi-bosses, and the second playtest where we did the demi-bosses again, saw all the changes, and we were like, oh, they play a lot better. And then they let us play the final boss. And it's pretty similar. The phase 1 and 2 are pretty similar, but phase 3, where now it does the floor attack, where it does like one side, middle, other side, that wasn't a thing in the playtest. In the playtest, it was, so you have your grid of a floor in the final boss room, and then it will light up with a pattern. So it'll be like this side, this side, this side, this side. and then it's a memory game the whole time. So if you're standing on the wrong tiles, you get hit. But
no.
And so it starts with 1, and then you would move to that spot and then stab, and then move back to your like middle spot, and then so it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like moving all over the floor. So you'd be like stab, 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 like so like Dance Mat Revolution or whatever it's called, that game. And it just got really obnoxious to play because you were never in a rhythm. You're like, it was frying your brain having to remember like 7 patterns in a row, like once you were getting towards the end of the fight. And
changing prayers and managing supplies.
And changing prayers. Yeah. And they also so some of the invocations they had on, so I think if you turn them all on for the final boss, it was 1 tick apart. So it was literally like bam, 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 bam. And you'd have to be completely tick perfect. Which, yeah, I feel like in hindsight, so we never actually got to, so that, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't fun. I don't think anyone enjoyed that. So we were there on the second playtest, the first day, we were kind of walking back to our hotel after dinner, and we're like, yeah, that's not, for the final fight, I think people are going to be pretty disappointed, to be honest, because they didn't have the minions on the side or anything like that. It literally was this dance mat thing for the whole of the final phase.
So DDR.
Yeah.
DDR in Old School RuneScape.
Yeah.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah. So yeah, you just couldn't get a rhythm. It was just mentally draining. So we were just like, we don't like it, but this is the last playtest. And then they just completely redesigned it. And so the minions spawning on the side, like the ghosts, that's like suggestions from players. And yeah, I think they ended up doing a decent job on it.
I wonder how much actual, like, if you were to put it in a percent, like what a percentage of that raid was like playtest suggestion and how much they actually started with. Because if the 2 minions on the side was just like playtest suggestion, that's a wonderful suggestion.
Yeah, stuff like that. There'll be loads of things like, even just, it's mostly you go in, you get frustrated, and you all sit round in a circle and like, oh, we did Path of Atmacum, what do you guys think? And I'd be like, why the hell is this taking 7 minutes? I know we're bad, but we're not that bad. Like, it's just way too long. Or, for example, on the scarab puzzles, I think that was the first thing I did, and I was like, why is there so many scarabs? I can't even see the tiles. Like, what is this? Because there was literally tons of them, and I couldn't read the things. I was like, feels ridiculous. So lots of stuff like that gets changed because they just see that you're frustrated and then instantly changed. I'd say maybe, and a lot of it is stat adjustments as well, because the people there are inevitably pretty good at PVM, and by the end of like 2 days, you can be like, well, we know the mechanics. We're still struggling because the stats are just off, and like, if you guys want this to be accessible, you have to lower some of the stats in this.
Right.
Stuff like that.
At what point, as an upper level PVMer, do you say like, oh yeah, no, the stats are the problem, not the mechanics? Like, I can't imagine being on the high end and like play testing P3 Verzik, and after a day being like, yeah, it's the stats that are the hard part of this boss, you know?
Yeah, that is tough because it's like every bit of feedback I always gave, it's just caveated with, but I'm probably terrible. so it's just like, if I did this for another 2 weeks, then maybe it would be completely fine. And I think that's another hard balance they have to strike, right? And
what gear were you guys allowed to use?
Oh, Mac, we
like
were
your own stuff.
We were allowed to use Macs, yeah. So I got to use
so you guys were in
Shadow and the Fang.
Oh, so you guys already used the shadows and all that? Okay.
Yeah. Everyone knew Fang was cracked, but we didn't know the drop rates, right? So I was like, oh, this Fang's going to be very rare because it was just best in slot, like all the bosses and stuff.
It's so okay. Good. I'm only down like 210 mil from the thing I bought week release. It's fine. I'm not upset about it. But that's cool because I mean I feel like, you know, you go back and watch the videos of like, you know, Bodhi and Wooks doing the first ever Theater of Blood. And that's ridiculous. And the Armadillo with the T-bows at Verzik, like that is just brutal. Yeah. So I can't imagine being forced to play test in like that kind of environment where you guys are like, here's just fucking Karis, I guess. I don't know. Let's maybe give this a try. And then like the actual raid comes out and it's so much different. And they've made these adjustments that now, you know, Verzik is a chicken with the scythe compared to, you know, a T-bow and max range or something like that, which downplays that boss entirely. But, you know, I'm glad they let you use the stuff in the raid, and they kind of understand that, like, we create rewards that are best at the content it comes from. Yeah. Which is...
Well, they... You know, the thing is that, interestingly, I think as well, they don't tell you anything at the start, and they just let you go in with whatever gear, like it's day one. And day one, they don't tell you the weaknesses or anything like that. So it is like, oh, I'm using Scythe and I'm hitting nothing on Baba. So you guys, like, we had people with like, all sorts of stuff. Like, oh, the Inquisitor's mace, 5 maces. And like, I think
that is fun. The first day of TOA, when we were all kind of like, what do we take? There's a rumor stab is good, but we're not sure, and we're just sort of throwing stuff at the wall. It was a really fun time. Yeah. I remember the first day it came out, our friend Jamie was DMing me on Twitter that night at like 11 p.m. my time, maybe even later because we were up playing all day long. And she was like, dude, tomorrow we have to bring DDSs because I've heard on Twitter that DDSs are really good against Warden Core. And I'm like, I've seen the same thing. But tomorrow morning, we're going to take DDSs and we're going to get, you know, a 3 down or whatever we were trying for on the first day at like our level 70 invocation raids. So that's a really good time to like go in with nothing. But it's a really bad way to gauge whether or not the raid is ready to release.
Yeah, I mean, by the end, like, we'd figured it out and we were using the correct styles and everything. But they also made us play with base 80s and Void, and they're like, "I'll try this now with terrible stats and terrible gear." So we can do like an entry mode feedback. Is this comparable to entry mode TOB? Is it comparable to all like how hard is this? I think my feedback was entry mode was too hard. But I'd love to see like how different it was, because we just didn't get to see the stats of the monsters. I wonder how much they actually changed.
What was your experience like the morning the raid came out? Because, I mean, you kind of had a pre-indication of what it was going to be.
Yeah, so part of me was quite sad in it, because I considered not playtesting because I kind of wanted that fresh experience, but I gave it a bit more thought and decided to playtest instead, because that is your fresh experience, because you can't watch Wooks on stream and just figure it out. You're constantly figuring it out on that day. So it's just, you get it a bit earlier. As for like doing the content, I wasn't allowed to like send expert level raids or anything like that. So I just went, like, the instructions were, you're not allowed to stream until there's a completion of normal mode, or I think it was. And if you're in small groups, you're not allowed to leak mechanics. You're not allowed to do this, that, or the other. You can't upload a video until like 12 hours afterwards or whatever it was. So I just went with my friends, and I was just like laughing, just like knowing what was coming. So for example, I turned on Mind the Gaps to get them all kills. Because I knew
turn Mind the Gap on and don't tell them what it is.
No one had read any of the invocations. So stuff like that, like, it was cool, but I did miss the feeling of waking up and be like, oh, RuneScape update today, what's it going to be? Yeah, but I got that at the playtest, so it was...
Yeah, like, it was the gratification and the enjoyment was just in a different time than what you had.
I think I'd turned down playtesting a League and Sailing, to be honest. I don't think I'd do that.
Oh, okay.
Because, as well, I found it weird because I was doing content, but everyone... I mean, I wasn't pretending like it was for the first time. I was with the elements that I hadn't done before, like the final phase and stuff. But it takes away from my content because I kind of know what's going to happen. But so my content that day was more about the reactions of my teammates and just talking about stupid little jokes and all that sort of stuff.
True. Which is fun, but like, there's something really special about, like, you know, receiving a text message from your friend and being like, dude, I went in and I did like a 100 level raid with just the Warden invocations on. Insanity is something else.
Yeah.
On like day one, where he's like, it's so fast you can't even like process how quickly it moves. Now Insanity is like the standard for expert modes, but like, God, that first day of TOA, that's one of the reasons I'm so excited for Sailing, is because like the first day, the shit show that is going to be, I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
Sailing's going to be even better, though, because there'll be things at level 90 that you can see on the guide, and you have to wait 3 days before you can watch anyone even do it. Like, what even is that island? Like, what's there? What can this ship do that you can build? Oh, it's 60 hours away. Even if someone stays up and the count shares and everything, they're not going to be at it for like another 3 days.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how it plays with other skills as well. Like, what content am I going to be locked out of? I don't have a max cape. That shit's not coming for a while. Michael gave me a stretch goal to hit 2250 by the end of the year in like late December. Honest to God, I may have gained like 25 total levels all year, which is a problem in itself. But I'm interested to see what content I can't do. Because like, I have 70 sailing finally, but I need 95 rune crafting to do this other thing, which I don't know how those two coincide with one another. But
yeah, you'd imagine there's going to be some fishing cohesion, stuff like that, some thieving, getting some piracy going. What I really want for like no one's got to that yet. I would love it. So you know how they got the total level ones at the moment, 2,200, 2,000, 1,750. I want them to make a maxed world so no one's logged in, and then the first person to get there will be the only person on the world, and that'll be like the extra bracket up. I know. I think that'd be very cool.
the max worlds.
That's very elitist of me. Just after you guys have said your listeners are like medium level, they'll be like, F this guy.
Frankly, I think that would be great because I think it would clear out the 2,200 worlds a little bit more that I still can't access. But like, I think it would, it would clear it out a little bit more because there'd be less people on like the German 2,200 world,
PKing, like wilderness content would be cracked.
Yeah,
in those worlds to be absolutely free.
But again, the trade-off would be, what do we say every time we talk about total level worlds, Michael? You're not going to run into anyone on the 2,200 total level world until you do, and then you are fucked.
Yeah, you're dead.
Because you're not getting away from that,
Okay, so if they made a max world, would it be 2277 or 2376?
That's got to be the new one. It has to be the new one.
2376.
Yeah.
It's also like nearly 200 levels up from the previous one, so it kind of fits.
If we got like 2 new skills from now, 2,400 total levels would be kind of cool. And that's just like, that's hard. It's weird to think about. Yeah. That's a long way away from right now. But eventually, if we get sailing, and then they've said they're willing to work on shamanism. Oh, here's the hot topic. What did you vote for, sailing or shamanism? I mean, you could have voted for taming, but
so I made a ramble about it, and I was like, I don't want taming. Like, taming's done. 5 out of 10.
That's out of the.
All right, well, it's been fun, guys. Enjoy this commercial break. Or you get this guy out of here.
I actually really like taming.
I really like taming a lot.
Okay.
He owns Pokemon in RuneScape.
So I was like, taming's done. And then I was like, shamanism, kind of like it. It's good, it's solid. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. But sailing could be a 5 out of 10, or it could be a 10 out of 10. Like, my heart goes sailing, but my head goes shamanism. And so I voted for sailing in the end. And I'm so glad I did, because the more that goes on, I'm happier I voted sailing. I like it more and more.
Yeah.
I have to agree. As much as I thought, like, I even said this like months ago, like, my heart of hearts tells me taming is the one I want. I know logically the community is not going to vote for taming. So I went on this whole big thing, like, on an episode we did a while ago that was like, taming could be fun as hell, but it's not going to pass. It's not going to be it. Shamanism, aka Iron Man mode, the skill made me physically sick.
I'm an Iron Man at heart, though.
Iron
so
Man
like,
mode,
let's go.
bro. I just feel like that's a really narrow
it's a gathering skill and a production skill, and all the components are untradeable. You guys are gonna love it. Like,
the thing I liked about shamanism is there was a massive opportunity to put stuff all around the world. So you could revive dead content areas, have different monsters all over the place. I really like that element of it. For me, that was it's one of its biggest selling points.
3 words: Spirit Realm Neve.
Spirit Realm me.
That's all you had to say.
Spirit Realm Bob, bro.
I'm here. Spirit Realm Bob.
You can do that now without making us suffer
You can.
through an Iron Man.
There is a
skill.
plugin.
You can do that now. You can revitalize the Dorgish Khan area. You can, I don't know, remove the pillars from the pathway of the Grand Tree. Y'all, okay. When you guys leave the Grand Tree, like from a Grand Seed Pod to go to the Fairy Ring, there's like a beautiful archway of lights that is just interrupted by like the structural pillars of the part of the tree above it. When can we get rid of those? You know, I don't think. I think that's got to be removed with the hide roofs feature because I hate the way it looks.
I played this game for 10,000 hours and I don't even know what you're on about.
I just noticed it yesterday. Go to the Grand,
now I'm going to notice it every
Tree.
time, though. You've ruined me forever.
It's like perfectly centered, and there's just like pillars of shit in the middle.
Oh,
like
I see it now.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's ruined for the rest of my days.
I'm nowhere close to a spirit tree, or I would go.
Yeah, someone's got to add a plugin to remove those because they're pretty gross. But
is it just visual, or is it actually like where it obstructs your view?
No,
I mean, it obstructs your view and it obstructs your pathing. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't stand on the
pathing.
tile. Yeah. We need a quest where maybe we chop them down and then the Grand Tree falls down and it's lopsided or something. We fight back about it.
That would be just like you do all that work for Monkey Madness. and then
we decide
like
we hate
part
gnomes.
of the logging company that just cuts the whole damn.
No, Monkey Madness 3. Maybe the monkeys do it. I don't know.
That brings up a good topic. Since you just went through all of these quests, is the trajectory of quests in this game, does it have to be like towards the end game?
Well,
or is it cool to like retcon stuff and like, because you could make a sequel to the second, like you could make a sequel and just kind of slide it in there and then have the story continue. I guess maybe not.
I think that's fine, but I think also people have expectations of bigger and better. Like when something becomes iconic, like DS2, Dragon Slayer 3 has to be bigger.
Well, that's the problem. Is like
I say
you can't you can't improve forever. That's the problem with capitalism. It's like Netflix, they want to make way more money than they're making now, but they're still making millions of dollars in profit. But they're it's shareholders, and it's trying to please the man, and now they got to charge us $8 per account. It's all because they just want to keep making more and more and more money. But to me, if you have millions of dollars in profit, that should be good enough.
Yeah,
I'm going to intentionally avoid my anti-capitalism rant for the show because this will be the 4-hour episode, and it'll just be Solo Mission and Michael trying to interject, and I just don't shut the fuck up about how it's Okay, I'm gonna stop myself right here. As long as the story is told well, I think we could get some sequels. But if we get like somehow Palpatine returned, but in RuneScape form, they've completely fucked it. Like people are talking like, I can't wait for the next Grandmaster Elf quest. We could do that. Prith is huge. There are so many opportunities to build off of what Prith gave us. As long as it's not like Seren is back and eviler than before. Like,
Yeah, I agree. It depends on the quest line as well. I think if it was like the Slug Menace quest line, you don't have to make that some crazy quest. It can just be like very story focused.
The lady in Slug Menace, that Slug Queen seems pretty evil. And nobody has given a shit about that in like 15 years. I think we should go back down in that hole and make sure everyone's okay there in Witch Haven. Like, there's lots of stuff we got to work on. You know, prior to Secret to the North, Devious Minds was just like, I don't know. He took the bow sword. Like, I think there's a lot that could be expanded. And I think there's a lot of like Grandmaster quests that could have fun little spin-offs that don't necessarily have to like resurrect old enemies. Maybe you could have like a Dragon Slayer 2.5 dragon cleanup or something, and turns out the Dragonkin have left like other various, you know, terrifying dragons around GIELINOR, because we have some examples. We have Vorkath We have Zulrah, who was a Dragonkin experiment that just sort of dumped in the swamp and went wrong. There could be 2 or 3 more of those that as a master or a grandmaster quest, you have to go either eradicate or contain that kind of continue that, like, Dragon Slayer 2 is the hypest quest in Old School RuneScape. You can't change my mind about that. But you could add more content through the Dragonkin line as like side
it's
things.
like a branch off. Yeah. It doesn't have to feed the end storyline that we know, but it still could be in that, like a spin-off.
Yeah.
I feel like they're not going to do that as well with the like the hard quest, Grandmaster type quest into a more normal quest. Because I feel like if they create a normal quest, they want as many people to play as possible. And if it's locked behind like Dragon Slayer 2, that's not really getting to as many people as possible. Like, for example, my mum, she can't do DS2 because she's like too bad at the game. So like she'd play that quest, but she wouldn't be able to reach it. And there must be a lot of people like that. I feel like he's just like casual. It's like the DS2 is one step too far in their Iron Man or whatever account they play.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that, because I think a majority, like the 3 Grandmasters that we have, other than the unlocks that they give, there's no requirements. Like, they're not required for any achievement diary. They're not required for any additional quests. They're not required to get a max cape. They're not required to do some really high level content. Like, yes, you need it for Prif and Gauntlet and like Vorkath and Demonic Gorillas, but you don't need it for Chambers. You don't need them for Tob. I wouldn't really consider Beneath Cursed Sands a Grandmaster quest. I think, Michael, you did it in what, 20 minutes with Quest Helper?
I did it pretty slow because I kept forgetting things and Walkman mode.
With
He
Quest
needed
Helper?
the tank
dude.
legs. He needed it.
I needed those tank legs.
Listen,
With
I was
Quest Helper, I
so,
still forgot Cole.
so mad about that stupid quest. That Menifite Ock took me 5 or 6 attempts. And I was like fuming in VC trying to do it. And Michael just one and dones it. Absolutely no problem. Our other group mate TMD, one and dones it. Absolutely no problem.
One and done. This man would not take any gear loan. He's like, I'm going to do it in my rune legs and my you had like a Derek's top? I don't know.
No, I think I did it in maybe Rune and Proselyte. But like,
you did in Proselyte?
I don't know. I didn't have any freaking tank legs.
Anyway, he did it with that, and then he was like base 70s combat, and I'm over here with like 87 strength, 75 attack, super combated.
Absolutely fuming. And then I did Vanstrom 2 days later, and Vanstrom's the hardest quest boss in the game.
For like med game accounts, that is really tough, I'd say.
It sucks, but I was struggling because like I don't have the mindset of a mid game player when it comes to PVM. So when I'm getting the shit slapped out of me because my max hits like a 17, like it's just, that's too much. I was fuming. But
Dragon Scimitars for life, baby.
Yeah, we're gonna be rocking those Dragon Scimitars for a long time because you're the Slayer and you only have like 70, so. Yeah, get used to those.
Is supposed to be the Slayer, but he's been caught up being the Zulrah bot, which is great. Love him for that. Yeah, he's like slightly worse stats than almost all of us, but he's been consistently killing Zulrah on mobile.
On mobile? What, on the group Iron Man?
Yeah, it blows my mind. On the group Iron Man. He's a mobile gamer. He does like Fazani's Nightmare on mobile. So I think he's done Tob on mobile, if I recall correctly.
I could never get people like that. Like, I've logged into mobile maybe 10 times in the past 3 years.
Yeah. Bro, I could not have maxed without being able to play on my iPad. Yeah. Well, just like I've got a family. I'm a wife.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, like, yeah, like, I'm the weird one because I'm always at the PC.
So I just can't. The most time I probably ever spend sitting at my computer is when I'm editing and when I'm doing the podcast. Otherwise, it's mostly like the wife and I are watching TV and I'm on my iPad. But there are certain things like I can't do quests on mobile because that's just like no quest helper.
Yeah, true.
Clue scrolls have become easier. They have the ground item markers,
but not
which is
the damn
now.
slide puzzles. They've made everything so much better except slide puzzles, and I still
Why would they
can't
not
do
do
them
that?
without the rune light helper. So I'll get to a
So
slide puzzle and have to like stop doing the clue until I can get on my computer. Like,
So you get on the
just can't do
computer,
it.
yeah, like log in just to do that step, and then you're back on your phone.
So you spend quite a bit of time on your PC. You know, you're the weird one, as you say, which doesn't seem that weird because you're a professional gaming content
I'm a
creator.
professional, yeah.
So it's not like you're like, yeah, I'm a gardener in real life and I've sit on my computer for 18 hours a day. Like, that'd be a little weird.
Yeah. I don't have a secret second job or anything like that.
Yeah, I do, and it's not a secret, and it doesn't allow me to play RuneScape as often as I'd like, but it feels a lot better than having to just like sit at my computer, you know. So I guess like I feel like we ask all the content creators this we get on the show, but like the discipline of being at your computer more or less all day long. Pre-COVID, maybe it would have been a little bit weird, but since the pandemic, how has that changed? Is it been something you've always been able to do? Of just sort of like, I listened to you on Based a couple months ago. You sort of like, you know, you kind of laid out your routine. How has that evolved over the years? You know, how do you balance real life with that when you're so, as we said earlier, chronically online? Because like most of my social life is through the community we've built. You know, I got like 2 friends in person who live in town. Other than that, these f***ing guys are the ones I'm hanging out with.
Yeah, I'd say, well, I graduated from university in 2018 and I just decided to do content creation full time. And I was like very all in with it. Like, so I've been like this for 5 years. I'm constantly on the PC. It's weird. So, for example, when I talk about what I do to someone who doesn't play RuneScape, they're just not online. They're like, "Oh, you're like a gamer," and I'm like, "I'm not really a gamer because I'd never play other games because gaming is my job." So like, for me, it'd be like I want to get outside, go for a walk, that sort of thing, do a bit of traveling to other places. But like, I'm on my PC a fair amount, but I'd say I don't play that much per day. I'd say average for the past 3 years, I've averaged maybe 4 or 5 hours or something. I'd say compared to a lot of other creators, most of my time is spent more researching, writing up what I'm going to do, planning. I'm not like, I don't have like a episode 100 of my Iron Man where most of the time is spent grinding the game. Most of my time is spent like thinking of the ideas. I mean, a fair bit of it is executing it, but... And I don't really play much RuneScape outside of making the actual videos themselves. So
yeah, I was just about to ask, how do you play this game for fun? Like, is that still a thing you do, or?
The lines are so blurred though, aren't they? But what the main for me, the funnest thing is just being successful on YouTube. As like sad as that might sound, and like making money for this is fun for me. So like. I like.
That sounds sad. It's a career. It's a career-oriented goal in a field you're very passionate about. I don't think it's a sad.
Yeah,
thing,
maybe not sad, but like it's a bit like, oh, you're only in it for the money type
mindset.
thing. But like, yeah, of course I'm in it for the money. Like everyone is in their job for the money. But I'd say the main thing that gives me enjoyment is when new stuff comes out and it can challenge me in the game or like from a content creating perspective. So that's why a lot of my content is so focused on new updates and little challenges and doing things differently. I could never just grind the same things for hours and hours and hours. That's just not really, I wouldn't find that particularly engaging. Or I talked about this when I was in America with some of the content creators there. I feel like even just doing all the new updates and stuff, I'm not really progressing in a professional capacity. I feel like I'm pretty similar to how I was like 1 or 2 years ago. So I don't know if that's like that's a bad sign for me.
How would you know you've progressed professionally? Because like usually the two that go hand in hand, and you know where Michael and I kind of lack in this regard is streaming and YouTube are the best ways to grow each platform back and forth. Because if they like you on stream, they'll watch you on YouTube. And if they like you on YouTube, they want to see you live. You don't stream, like, ever.
No.
You know, and from what like I said, I listened to some, older interviews of yours. It doesn't seem like you have much of an interest in streaming.
No, not really. The main reasons boil down to it makes the videos worse. I just don't particularly want to be live a lot of my week. It makes it feel forced, like turning up for a 9-to-5 job. You owe the people that have given money to you to turn up and do it. I also think, like, I've always struggled a bit with the whole streaming culture of, like, people giving over a lot of money to creators and the sort of the relationships that can create. And I never want to feel like I'm owing anybody anything. Like, say if somebody like donates you like $10,000, like, you're gonna feel obliged to answer all their messages and stuff. And like, I never want to be in that situation. I'd rather take my money from the big companies, like, even if that's like mobile games and stuff like that. That's the stance I have on it. I don't know. There's just something so weird. Like, I get it, right? I get the whole streaming culture of like, oh, you sub and stuff, and like, I feel like I just part of me inside. There's two sides of the coin, right? There's people can do whatever they want with their money, and like but the other side of that is, are people just giving over loads of money to streamers because they like that's the only thing that's giving them any enjoyment? Like, are they going to regret that in 10 years time, sort of thing? Like those thoughts really sort of creep into my head, and that's the model of streaming. The people that are giving loads of money are keeping most creators afloat, and I don't know. There's something that's never quite records, and I know that people can do whatever they want with the money, but I've never quite like got over that in my head. That sort of you almost are always indebted to your top donators and gift subbers and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a bad logic to not want to stream at all, because it does feel kind of weird. Michael can attest. We have a Patreon for this show, and I'm totally on board with that, and I'm never awkward about it ever.
Yeah,
isn't that right, Michael? I've never once been awkward about Patreon. I'm not awkward about it now, talking about it, but it does feel.
I feel like Patreon's a little bit different though. Like, no one's gonna drop like 10K on Patreon, are they?
Not
I don't know,
unless
you have like a 10K tier. I don't know.
You never know, man. That Zuck tier's coming. 10,000 a month, baby. But in streaming, it does. I stream myself probably from 2018 to 2021 ish, because I too graduated from college and was like, right, I don't have any friends in town anymore because they're all either still in school or they got a job somewhere else after school. So I created a Twitch account and I started doing the whole thing. I hit the goal of making friends, which was awesome. Ended up here as where that sort of culminated. But in the interim, like, I never streamed full time. And even so, like, getting subscribers, because this was back in the day where, like, if you had 50 subs, you unlocked a new emote slot.
Yeah, I streamed at that period as well, I think.
and that just felt weird to, like, hey guys, if we hit this goal, like, more stuff will happen, because, like, it's weird because you don't really make money from ads on Twitch.
Like, baiting culture on Twitch has always like felt a bit funny to me. I don't know.
And the ad revenue on YouTube, not quite like the pre-roll ads, but like the sponsored segments, I know are where the money comes from. Like, if you get X amount of money for doing a Raid Shadow Legends ad, you're going to make significantly more than you would from ad revenues from probably YouTube and Twitch combined. Yeah. And that's definitely a more comfortable way to go about doing it. If that's, if the like we said, the not robotic empathy aspect of it, which isn't to say that streamers don't have empathy, because you're right. Money is subjective,
Yeah. But even with Raid, like I take Raid ads, but there's also like, there is a little part of me is like, well, what if somebody just gets addicted to this and dumps 5K into it and then they regret it like 10 weeks later? Like, am I not facilitating that somewhat? Like, there's personal responsibility in there as well on like the viewers end and things. But at the end of the day, I'm promoting it, so I don't know.
That's it's hard to get away from. I offered my buddy a beer on his birthday, and 2 years later he's an alcoholic. Is that my fault?
Yeah.
It's
I don't
really
know.
hard to. It's easy to like blame ourselves for these kinds of things, but especially when it comes to money, people value different things in different ways. I could be super cheap at the grocery store and only spend $30 for my entire week of food because I have to spend money on my mobile game, and that's what I find to be valuable.
Yeah.
As long as I'm supporting myself.
Yeah. No. I agree. That's the thing. There's just there's two demons fighting against each other. I feel like, in my head, thinking about these things.
Streaming's off the table. Well, not quite off the table.
I wouldn't say it's off the table. I mean, also, I don't think I have the personality for streaming. I'd say I'm pretty introverted. Like, really, like at the moment, I'm like quite talkative, but I wouldn't want to be doing this for like 7 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'd run out of things to talk about personally.
It is so mentally draining.
Yeah.
I opened my OBS a couple weeks ago because I was like, I'm going to quest on the GIM. Maybe I'll stream it just for old time's sake. Opened OBS and thought, no, we're going to turn that bitch off. I'm just going to jump into VC with my friends. Because you're right, it is tough. You don't have to talk to Michael and I and everyone in the recording booth chat every day for the next 2 months, right? It's a one-time deal,
Yeah.
So if other than the rare special occasion where solo mission is live on Twitch, how will you know you've not plateaued and you're doing the next thing? You're making it's the emergent gameplay, as you would say, for content
of
creation.
YouTube. I don't know. I feel like you just know. Like, I can watch my videos from a year ago and I'm like, I could have made that yesterday and it would be pretty similar. Like, there are obviously like marginal little upgrades you do, but it's just, I think part of it is from my pessimism about RuneScape YouTube in general. It's the same thing a lot of content creators have said for ages of, oh, we're only going to be doing this for like 2 or so more years and then we'll move on to something else. And I think that in some respects that has held me back a little bit, even in terms of what recording software I use, the type of computer I have. Like, well, I don't want to bother to, like, it's not can't be bothered. It's like, is it a good time investment for me to learn an entire new software and fully make the switch if I'm just going to stop doing this in 2 years? But that's been my thought since 2018 and that's been 5 years. So I probably should really do it. And that would give me that sense of progression. So maybe I should do something like that.
I mean, I don't know much about Camtasia there, Grandpa.
Yeah.
But, as far as like
trends
in
Torvesta also uses it. It's crazy.
Hey, maybe this is the push. We made you download OBS, so
Yeah, but then there's also a side which is like, at the end of the day, I run my channel quite like a business. I don't want to be investing tons and tons of time into each video. I'm not. Like, I take pride in my work, but I'm not someone, for example, like Rendy, who will spend 3 months on one video. I care way too much about the bottom line of my business to do that. He's like a true artist type thing that doesn't.
Right.
That's
like
that's secondary.
Guns Chili.
Yeah, Guns Chili as well. People like them.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a craft.
once every
perfect.
8 weeks when that man releases a video, let me tell you, it is top tier. But God, does it take forever?
Yeah. And that's part of like my mantra as a YouTuber. I just want to do everything 90%. So I want to be good at everything. I'm never gonna really push the boat out to be excellent at any one thing. I just want the videos to be like decently funny, decently well edited, some okay music, like good, like decent. It's decently interesting, the content matter, and like when you add all those things up, it adds up to be an excellent video, maybe. But from a time perspective, just like learning to do all this mad editing stuff and all that sort of thing, I don't know. I think I care about money a bit too much. I don't know.
But what's wrong with that? I'm a therapist. That's my real job, right? I do it because I enjoy doing therapy.
Yeah.
When you stop paying me to do therapy, I become a lot less therapeutic. It's called like having boundaries. If you weren't being paid to do YouTube, you'd probably not be making as many videos, if making videos at all. And you're clearly passionate about doing it because you've been doing it for so long, right? So I don't think being money motivated is an issue, especially like you said, when you're trying to run a business, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. Solo mission is a business. Xpwaste is a business. It's just,
I don't know what it is with the RuneScape community, but people get so offended when you want to make, not you, but like generalize, like when content creators want to make money. Like I've seen content creators who are very successful go and like, they put a community post on YouTube and be like, hey guys, I was thinking about adding a sponsor to the next video. Like, are you guys okay with that? Like, stop asking and just do it. This is like, people can skip the ad if they really want to. But the RuneScape community just gets so up in arms. I don't know if it's that way with other gaming communities, but I would imagine.
I don't think it's that bad.
Like,
I don't think it's as bad as it used to be because people have grown up.
Okay, so
they have to.
Has it gotten better?
Everyone has to work now, basically. So they understand that. Basically, the sponsors pay their bills. Like if I wasn't getting sponsors, I wouldn't be making YouTube videos. I'd be working 9 to 5 somewhere else, doing something else.
Yeah.
So it's just the trade-off.
Okay, so I guess it's gotten better. I guess I'm on like, 2017 YouTube, like RuneScape YouTube still, but that's how it used to be. So I'm glad it's gotten better. People aren't like such, up in arms when they have a mid roll, and maybe it is like you and Settled and Jimmy. Like, you guys have sponsors in almost every video, and that's maybe you guys are pioneering like a new wave of content creation for Old School RuneScape.
Yeah, for the
it.
top guys, like in terms of views per video, it's been like that for like maybe over a year. Just because when at the end of the day, you've only got so many hours in a week, and if you've got like, say if you're spending 60 hours at work in a week, your hourly rate can 5x from having a sponsor. That's the difference. Yeah, that is the difference. And then you want to keep the average video views high, so you want to put as much effort into one video as you can. Like, I don't know. There's two different ways to run your YouTube business. You either do lots of volume, where say you're like Boaty or like Odablock, you just like pump out stuff. It's like, it's not necessarily like narrative driven, like crazy edited or anything like that, but like you're getting a lot of views per month just from like, because you upload a lot. And then there's the other
quantity versus quality.
Yeah,
both
I mean,
in
like
some regards.
But I feel like you can only. Those two have very strong personalities that people really enjoy, so that works very well for them. But that I don't think that would work so well for me. And a lot of the other guys go the other route of just uploading less, and the sponsors make it so it's kind of, you get like 2, 3, 4 sponsors a month. So it like the upload cadence is slower, but then because it's slower, you may as well put more effort into each video. Like the average video now is so much better than the average video in 2019. Like. And that's because people just upload less because of the whole sponsor situation. It's like it's good. It's like good and bad. And so I started doing a second channel for a little bit where I was doing like ramble type content, and that's just because I wanted to make more videos. Actually, I take it back. I've progressed professionally because
I was just about to ask. Like you've been playing for a while, and I would wager you're pretty fucking good at this game. Have you considered the like kind of Sebe ramble style where we have the recording booth chat with Patreon and we're interacting with people, we're interacting with each other, but if you just start talking to a microphone for 40 minutes or an hour about your thoughts, you've got the viewer base that would listen to you.
Yeah, I mean, I started doing it on my second channel. So it all started with, I was doing these GIELINOR Games reviews where I was just going through the behind the scenes of each week, showing people the DMs, the alliances, what I was thinking and stuff. And then I've done like 5 or so rambles on there, which actually did way better than I thought they would do. So I can keep doing that as well. I just haven't been doing it as much recently. But yeah, no, I take it back. I progressed in that sense. I've been meaning to do that for like 3 years, and I finally started doing it. Yeah, thanks for the therapy session.
Yeah, that'll be $90, which I've heard is actually a disgustingly low rate without insurance. So you're getting Xpwaste discount there. I am curious. Back when Group Iron Man first released, and you did your super solo mission with the 5 Group Iron Men. I'm going to get the Infernal Cape in the month. And then leagues got moved. I remember seeing those like bits in your video where like I'm fucked because I had all the sponsors planned for leagues and I had like vacations planned.
Yeah.
How did that all pan out?
Well, I mean, it was fine in the end. I think we had to turn down some sponsors, and yeah, I just had to, well, because when a league is coming out, I'm cancelling my real life for a good month. So I was like, okay, so now the whole of late November, early December, that's free. There's nothing planned there. But there's things planned in January. When they moved it, it was doubly annoying because then now there's nothing to do for 2 months. And also, all the stuff in January, it binned. It has to be cancelled. So that was... Ultimately, I think it was the right decision, but they waited way too long to announce it, which was where my frustrations was, especially when there was all the feedback leading up to it for months that there was too much on top of each other. That's one of Giants' worst decisions in the past few years, and that's one time I've been genuinely angry with them.
The extension of the league also caused me some physical pain.
Oh yeah,
6 weeks is enough. I'm sorry. When they're like, it's going to be an extra however, it was misery.
It was 10 weeks, wasn't it?
I don't know how long it was, but those episodes towards the end of leagues where we're trying to record, and I'm like, I have to get more points for my Rune Cup, Michael. And I'm like suffering while we're recording. Like, that was not fun. When do we think the next leagues is going to be?
Oh, I hope it's soon.
Do you think they've got enough time to announce that because surely they do a summer summit, right? Surely.
I think surely they will do. I think that's because what did they announce at the Winter Summit? The skill, they're working on that. DT2, that'll be out by then. Forestry. That's going to be out really soon. Bounty Hunter, that's out. Secrets of the North, that's out. So like the horizon at the moment just looks like DT2, which is going to be super soon. Forestry, which is going to be super soon. And Sailing, which is just a long-term project. So I think we'll get a Summer Summit, surely. You think we would? And I really hope there's a league. There better be a league.
I would like a new league. I think... How do you top Trailblazer? Because I don't think Shattered Relics tops Trailblazer. You played a lot of League. I'm interested in your thoughts on this.
I actually have a non-conventional take. I think Trailblazer was a better league, but I actually enjoyed Shattered Relics more. And
really?
I think it's because, for one, Shattered Relics was the only one where I played literally right up until the last minute. And it's good. I don't know why. There was something about having that... So something about... I can't really explain it. There's something about... there was more depth to it, I feel like, for someone like me who's going to put in hundreds of hours, because the whole game was unlocked. I didn't like all the elements that everyone else didn't like. It was a clunky interface. I thought that they handled the costs of things really poorly, that sort of stuff. Like when you were unlocking the skills, the bosses, all the rest of it.
The renowned Stimmy, baby. Everyone got all their renown.
Yeah, and it was generally it was all too complicated to understand. I remember reading through the blog and like the YouTube video was like, I have to explain this to people that don't even play RuneScape anymore. The renown, you can level up these things. There's like all these. So that was very frustrating. So I think it was a bit too complicated.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of silly that there was more renown than you could spend, and then you just had way more, and there's like you couldn't do more with what you had.
Yeah, you couldn't unlock all the quests. You couldn't unlock all the diaries. Like, I remember like having to do rat catchers in leagues, and I was pissed about it because I'm like, of all quests. Because, like, it was just a few months prior, Jimmy released his video about how it was effectively the worst quest in the game. Why, of all quests, is this one not unlockable? But,
every quest.
How do you feel? So, the game has more depth, right? Because you have the whole game unlocked, every item unlocked. Where's the line between just fast Iron Man mode? Because with Trailblazer...
there isn't really much of a line.
I was gonna say with Trailblazer, it was quirky. You know, we had our obsidian helmets, we had our fucking combat bracelets or whatever there were. We had a lot of weird stuff that we were kind of like making work.
Yeah.
But to me, it just towards the end of Shattered Relics was like, is this what high level Iron Man feels like? Because this sucks.
Yeah.
You know? So at what point, like, do we need some restriction so it's not just this endless sea of what we already have at 16 times speed?
Yeah. I think for next league, what I would like to see is... Did you guys play Twisted League? The one that was only in Zaya, the very first league?
I did not. I came back in the last 3 days of Twisted League is when I like returned to old school RuneScape, I guess.
Okay.
So I chose the prayer relic.
Oh no! Not the
And,
IQ test.
quit, like-
failed.
Yep, I chose the prayer relic and quit that league pronto. Pretty much.
Oh, I think the relics. I like the shattered relics that everyone you can interchange the relics, so you're not permanently screwing yourself out of fun by making a poor choice. So I would keep maybe not the exact interface, but I would keep the ability to interchange out relics from shattered relics. This is me trying to design leagues for. This is a very safe leagues for, and we're going to start in one area and we're going to gradually unlock the entire map. But it's going to be, most players won't unlock every single area. Only like the giga sweaty people will. So like, you still have that area locked element of it, but ultimately you can get to, maybe most people get to like 7 out of 9 of the areas. So it will feel like you have lots of things unlocked.
It's almost like areas unlock alongside relics, because there's a lot of players who don't get all like 6 or 7 relic slots or whatever there are.
Yeah.
So as you get more points, you unlock more regions. Is it you choose the regions, or is it?
I think so.
I
think you should be able to choose them. Yeah. And
Okay.
Zaya
I definitely don't.
should be open. Like,
I don't hate that. I definitely don't, because I think that adds a sense of like fun progression to it. That, you know.
Yeah. It's like
style.
a amalgamation of the best parts of Shatter Relics and Trailblazer. I think that would be a safe leagues for them to do. Really, what I want would be something completely new that like I haven't considered.
Group leagues.
But it's been so
Group
long
leagues would be fun.
that honestly I'd take anything at this point.
It's just the problem that we've struggled with is like Trailblazer was amazing, and then we thought Shattered Relics was going to top it. Because we had the conversation back after Trailblazers, like, how do you beat this?
Yeah.
And then Shattered Relics came out, and I think a lot of the folks in, like, our neck of the woods were like, they still didn't top Trailblazer. Because a lot of it was frustrating. It was very long, you know. And I don't think I would have kept playing it if I didn't want, you know, the Rune Cup. If I didn't want the rank that I wanted, I would have just stopped. So I'm hoping, you know, our like, I don't know how you top this is absolutely just stupid. And they're like, oh, we've already thought of a way. You know, Mima in the recording booth chat mentions randomized uniques for everyone. Imagine like completing a fire cape, but instead of you like an abyssal whip or something like that from your first fire cape. Like that'd be...
I would like that, because then you're constantly at the mercy of RNG. like what if you're like hunting for something super basic like a whip and you just can't get it because you keep just getting like tassets or something. I don't know.
All your top purples are like wyvern visages and shit. And you're like so frustrated after a while.
I do enjoy those like randomized Minecraft seeds where like you mine a dirt block and it gives you an elytra. Like having it be a set thing but also random. Like if you dropped an attack potion on the ground, then you would get a special item or another item.
A chin-chompa
but you just have to try.
Hurts everyone around
yeah,
you.
it's like you have to try everything. Like you'd have to drop an entire stack of some item to get rune arrows. But it's all random.
Yeah, I think one of the things you have to be careful with when you're changing where uniques come from is that, so for example in Deadman mode, the last Deadman mode was you had, well, my experience in it was there wasn't any point in doing all the fun endgame PVM stuff in that one and taking the risk and doing it, because nothing could beat just barraging maniacal monkeys, because they were dropping like third age pieces and like all the relics and all this sort of stuff. So we were just sat there barraging them, and it's like, well, why would we go and raid? Because we can just get it all from here instead. Like this is the meta because then we can just sell it. So then your gameplay experience ends up being barraging maniacal monkeys when really I wanted to like go and raid. But in that competitive environment, you just end up doing the best thing, which I don't know. I think you have to be a little bit careful of that. So you want like the best thing to be one of the funner things, like PVM stuff. I don't know. It's so difficult. I'm not a designer for a league.
We claim not to be like, developers, but I feel like if you've listened to the show enough, the second half at least, Oxie and I have put on some we've given Jagex some pretty free content that I don't know. The Oxie we were talking because we do a segment called the Fun Question.
Yeah.
And Oxie theorized this hunter method where you hunt dinosaurs. You get contracts to go and hunt dinosaurs, and I'm like, I want this in the game right now.
Oh, shit.
I've never wanted anything more than that.
Is there something like that on RS? I've never played RS3, but isn't there hunting or something?
There is. There's the Dagannoth queens, more or less, are dinosaurs on a dinosaur island.
Oh, right.
I've not played enough of RS3 to know exactly what it is, but I know that's a thing that's in the game. But hunting a large NPC in a group mate, like a shooting star, random distraction diversion type thing.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. I need some validation here. Your thoughts on a group Iron Man League?
They'll never do it. There's no way.
Thank you. It's a terrible idea. It's a god awful idea because you're gonna play and then all your group mates are gonna stop playing.
Yeah.
And then you're f***ed.
Yeah, I would be disappointed if it was a group Iron Man League personally.
Well, then, yeah, because you're kind of locked into, I have to have a friend, at least one other person, to trust gameplay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd have to team up with Bitter, just people on the top
You
page.
just can't do it. Because we always talk about with bingo, skill doesn't win bingo, playtime wins bingo.
Yeah.
So you would want to obviously play with a friend that, no lives for 16 hours of the day.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's the same with leagues. It's just the reason I'm number one for the first week is probably because I do have the most playtime, I'd say.
Just don't log out. How much time do you spend that week?
So
are we talking 16, 18-hour days?
Oh, yeah. Easily. So the first night I don't sleep. I just stay up and keep playing. So I make a video the first day, stay up all night, make a video the second day, stay up a little bit more. Then I go to sleep for 6 hours. And then I'll have 4 hours sleeps for 5 days. And that's it. So yeah. Just
I'm sure the missus loves that. It's her favorite time of year, I'm sure.
Well, I say the money it brings longevity. So
it's an investment.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. Won't see me for a week, but when the sponsor paycheck comes in, you'll understand.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is what I'm about more. I go harder on the releases on certain time periods. So that's why there hasn't been one for a while. So I'm itching for it now.
Yeah,
we've been deprived
because it's fun to obviously you're not taking days off work. You're working overtime. But for me, I'm taking a whole goddamn week off when Leagues comes out. I'm putting the PTO in, and we're just gonna sweat. It's gonna be fantastic.
And then it's Shattered Relics League, and you hate it.
Yeah, as long as there's not a rollback at the start of the league again, that was.
That was so good for me because I could just edit my first day video when the game was down and not lose ranks. I was like, this is so good.
I think it was Shattered Relics League where it was misery. It came out, it broke, and then it was down for hours.
Yeah, it's 3 hours or something. Yeah.
And I was playing Ark Survival Evolved every 5 minutes would pause my game, spam click login, and be all right, and just go right back to playing Ark.
That's part of the RuneScape experience though, all the memes and the drama and things going wrong.
Oh my god, that was rough. That was a rough start to leagues, that's for sure. I texted my internship that day because they're your 10 a.m. canceled, and I'm sweet, I'm not coming in till noon. And that's when the game came back online. So I played leagues for the first hour and then a good probably 37 minutes before I had to leave to go to work. And then I had to anxiously sit there all day long and like wait for these damn college students to tell me about their problems so I could go home and play RuneScape all weekend long. 'Cause that's all I wanted at the time.
No, that's fun. Yeah. Oh, I miss it.
I'm not into leagues as much as y'all are. To me, if it's a temporary game mode, that's why I didn't play Fresh Start. If it's a temporary thing, yes, you get like the rewards at the end. But as long as you're not an Iron Man, you can just buy them. And the trophies don't excite me. Not to be a Debbie Downer about it. I'm just the leagues haven't excited me in the past. Yeah.
It's about the journey.
It's
about the journey.
It's about the journey. I don't know. For me, sometimes like the relics have to be okay. The problem with it, I think it boils down to is you can't get me out of bed. Like PVMing doesn't get me out of bed in the morning. Skilling does. And that's not the point in leagues. Yes, it's cool to see the dopamine rush of like boosted XP rates, but you're done with thieving in like an hour and a half. You know, if you go straight to 99 with 16 times.
That was awesome. Already nights for 45 minutes to get 99. That was awesome.
I probably could max. Like I could go for max, but even then that takes, depending on what relics there are, that also takes a while because you're an Iron Man. So like for me, I've always had, in almost every single league, I've had the goal, I'm going to max in leagues. And I get to like maybe 1,400 total. I'm like going back to my other account. The caveat being is I was always trying to max my account. Like every time there was a league, it was always, I feel like this account progression could be better suited on my main. But now that I'm maxed, that may be a different story.
Maybe.
You haven't touched the old main in a couple of months now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, so if you stop caring about that, maybe. I think there's a lot of players like you, though. It's just, you're either or. Like, some people just value the long-term progress and having something that is tangible that they can, like, keep for a long time. Whereas I'm not really like that. Like, I DI'd my Iron Man. I mean, maybe there's part of me which is, but maybe I've played so much that I'm just like, I've come full circle to be, it's just a game character. I don't know. It's
really hard.
Stuff, it's just a game, and then you like care so much, and then you come back, it's just a game. I don't know.
I mean, you know what that means. The cycle's bound to repeat itself at some point. No. And that's when leagues comes out, baby. I think the issue that at least I have towards the end is, like I said, 2.5 hours ago when we started talking about this, I have a really hard time doing the same piece of content for a while. And I think the issue that, players like myself who really want to do well in leagues but not like Dragon Cup well, is by the last like 2 weeks when it's like 2 days to complete one fucking task.
Yeah.
You're like, is it worth it though? That's why I was, in shambles at the end of Trailblazer League, because some of my buddies have like a leagues bot in their Discord that kind of shows like what the top percentage of like players is, like what the the sages around, whatever the league score, whatever it's called. And like looking at that number every day, it's like my worst nightmare to like see that I've fallen out of Rune after being like comfortably in it for like 3 days. Like, what happened? So like the very end, just like being super stressed out about trying to make it. I think at the last day, I was like, you know what? I'm done. If I get adamant, I get adamant. I was like 6,000 points ahead of where I needed to be. And it was too much, So I'm hoping that doesn't happen this time around. Cause
I think that's always going to happen.
It's always going to happen. If your end goal is a trophy, it's always going to be a slogfest, in my opinion.
You'll have to grind something at the end because everyone gets to the same point. Like, I think that the maximum fun way to play leagues is you do it all like when you're hopping around content hour to hour to hour. You're unlocking all the relics. Then you've got all the relics unlocked. Then you just go and do some of your favorite PVM, maybe complete some of the challenging tasks, and then you just quit with like 20k points or something like that. I think, and that's what the vast majority of people do. But then, that's hard to do if you care about having something to show for it at the end, like a trophy or like rewards in the main game. I have
2 pedestals in my POH with rune trophies. I need 1 more, and then we can just play for fun. And I still want to get all the points to be able to like buy all the items and things like that.
Yeah.
Which was my issue with Fresh Start Worlds, is there was no motivation as an experienced player to do it, because there was no like RS3 had like rewards and shit, and OSRS didn't. Not even like an untradeable cosmetic that would have been cool to show off. So for me, it just didn't seem worth it. But
what did you end up doing in Fresh Start Worlds? I didn't watch that video.
So
yeah,
I always just like to get rank 1 just because I'm competitive. Like,
oh, okay.
I was basically racing against myself. Like, no one else cared. Nice. It's just like a nice flex, bro. Like, okay.
You showed up for the race and no one was there.
So I did.
Let's go.
So I did the other 5 people in that Fresh Start World must have been really intimidated.
Yeah, and then so my goal was to complete every raid. So chambers, tombs, and top. So I quit once we got a top KC. So that provided some good structure for me, and did like, because I had to make money as well. I didn't swap money in, so I had the authentic sort of RuneScape journey of having to make money. So like I went and made steel bars for like a crazy margin, that sort of thing. So it was a lot about showcasing. Because this is a new server, look, we can craft Dragonstone rings and make bank, and that's crazy. And this is how RuneScape is kind of supposed to be like before all the PVM drops flood it. And then just towards the end, I got did Inferno and did the raids, and then I pieced out of that. And I think that was
you did the Inferno on Fresh Start Worlds?
Yeah, I'm like
nice.
Yeah, I'd say I'm better at Inferno than I am at raids. Like that's because
me too. What can I say?
No, but like on average, like I haven't. Well, this is not going to sound relatable at all. But I've only got a few hundred raid KCs at each of the raids. But like Inferno, I've got it on my level 78, which is 1 defense, my pure Iron Man account.
Damn.
So, but that took like a lot of learning and getting good at it. So, like everything that comes out, I'm like, just get Inferno. That's a free video. I'm like, well, that was also supposed to be the end goal of my flipping group hardcore Iron Man, but somehow I completely choked it and just didn't get the cape. I lost all the lives.
You went in. You're like, well, I have 60 range and red dragon hide. We should be fine. Come on.
I was actually embarrassed when I died when I lost the last life on the group hardcore. I was like, I can't believe I'm gonna have to upload this, because I really, with like my amount of skill, I really should have been able to get that cape, and I just didn't even make Zerk. I just lost 3. Just lost the lives. Like, how has this happened?
In fairness, the red Chinchompa hunter, the wolf death was rough.
Oh my, yeah.
But
I died at Zora as well, like just being an idiot doing like 30 combat, but for the content.
30 combat Zora.
30 combat?
I think
that's
it was
ambitious.
Wait, I think I did Zora on my. So I did I've done lots of different series over the years. So I've done a PvP hardcore Iron Man for anyone that doesn't know. And on that one, I think I did on the hardcore Iron Man Zora at 39 combat, maybe. I don't know, something like that.
That's ambitious. That's ambitious.
I love Zora though. It's the snake.
What's the secret to Venom on a Iron Man? Like, what is this? Is it just Guthix Rest? Is that it?
Yeah, Guthix Rest are good, and if you just bring like 4 anti-poisons, I think it's more just like knowing where to stand and when the snakes spawn, and you kill the snakes with knives to get rid of them, so you're not actually taking that much damage. Yeah. And then once you get past the initial rotation to like the random phase. The random phase isn't actually random. It's like predictable, kind of.
Oh.
There's just like a 50-50 chance on each. It's like not that bad. I actually have a video idea of... I've had it for like 3 years. If you know how in... I don't know if you guys have watched GIELINOR Games, but one of the bannings is who can survive longer in the Corrupted Gauntlet type thing. Or like who can survive longer in the Nightmare boss. There's another banning like that. And I've always had the idea for like ages of I should just make a video of not like the world's record quickest kills of bosses, just the world record slowest kills. And so like the idea of like doing a 6 hour Zora kill, I genuinely think I can do it. But having to sit there for 6 hours. It's like every time I think about doing that, I'm like, oh, that was still on the back burner for another year.
Back in the day, we did a little boss showcase for Zulrah, and we had like the quickest time, the slowest time, the highest loot, and the lowest loot were like the awards, and we had like a mid-game tier and a master tier, which pretty much was like it was pre-Shadow, so like the people who had T-bows and harm orbs weren't going up against people with like Ivan's and rune crossbows. And the longest kill time, I think TMD got like a 15-minute Zulrah kill, and he brought like full Justy and a Dins and just sort of like ran around the arena with like mage prey on or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So
you can get up there.
It's possible. You can be in there for a while.
Right, yeah. And there's other things as well. So like you could do that at every boss, right? You could try and go for the longest kill and theory crafting that. I think might be quite interesting to watch, but I've never got around to that. Someone's gonna upload that now, like 2 weeks time.
But like, it's a video idea, but how entertaining is it beyond a tweet? I guess that's the question I have for like. I got the world record. I got 6 hour logged at Vorkath. Is that a video? What are you gonna show? Like you just stand there and like turn your prayer back on?
Maybe it's like the progression of. No, I'm using this item. Now I'm switching to this setup that's better. Can't quite make it. Even with stuff like the gauntlet, you can do it. You can do a 50-minute corrupted gauntlet. Like you can be in the boss room for ages. But like Michael's face then, it's like, what the hell? Like, but people would want to be like, oh, how long can you go at these things? I don't know. It's one of those as well. I'm not sure if it would be a successful video or not.
I think
it would be a fun one-off thing.
Yeah, one-off thing. Yeah, absolutely.
If you're talking about the progression, it could be fun, but at some point you gotta ask yourself, is this worth it for me as a content?
Yeah. I mean, like when I'm 2 hours into Zulrah and I've got 4 hours left, that's not going to be enjoyable. But at the end of the day, like the ultimate enjoyment is making a unique video that someone else won't make and people will find interesting, and all the rest of it. Just
suffering for.
That's when it becomes a job. That's when it's actually a real job.
It's like, how do you take a lunch break? Like, do you just have somebody bring you food? How do you use the restroom?
Maybe that's part. Maybe that's part of the content. It's you just pissing in a bucket.
Oh my god!
Nothing like sitting there camping Zulrah's range phase. You hear the raids bucket going off in the background. God, that'd be terrible.
Gross. Absolutely disgusting. Well, boys, do you think we should go to break?
I was gonna say, speaking of raids buckets, we might have to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you stick around after this, we'll have more fun content for you after the break.
Hey, I'm the guy that sits in the, I'm the guy that sits real far away. Not a lot of people come around here, but my name is, don't worry about my name. We don't do names here. You come here, you give me what I want, I give you what you want, alright? And we don't ask questions. I have a lot of bones. You don't ask me where I got the bones from. I don't ask you what you need with the bones. And that's how this works, alright? We don't ask questions, alright? You come in, you give me money, I give you bones. Human bones, animal bones, dog bones, any sort of bone. But on the one proviso, you don't ask me where I got the bones, and I don't ask you what you need with the bones. Alright? You look me in the eye. Because if you don't accept that, we're gonna have a problem. You wanna know my name? You can call me Dan. I'm Dan the Bone Man. That's all you need to know. Alright? And then when we're done, you never met me. I never met you, alright? This never happened. I don't know who you are, alright? Good. Now get the f*** out of here.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break, because I know that I sure did. So the point of the show now where we take a second to thank all of our lovely patrons who support us over at patreon.com/xpwaste. If you are a part of the Wise Old Man tier or the KBD tier, you get a personal shout out in the episode. Wise Old Man's a little different. You'll get a shout out the first week that you subscribe, and then you'll see in a second, but there'll be a little graphic on the screen with everybody's name. And so this week we had 2 new Wise Old Man patrons, Avengor and KC Champ 15. I don't know if they want the whole legal government name with the 15 on there, but KC Champ 15. Thank you so much, guys, for subscribing to the Patreon. They're both in the recording booth chat. That's why I look to the left there.
I think it's KC Champs 15. Plural
KC Champs. Gotcha. KC Champs. My apologies. Got to put the S on the end.
If you're only getting one shot out, we got to do it right.
KC Champs 15. I'm assuming that's like Kansas City, but who knows? What else could there be with KC?
Kill count. Who knows?
Oh, kill count. Kill count Champs 15. We'll see. Anyway, thank you guys so much for subscribing, and thank you to all the Wise Old Man patrons who are on the screen now. You guys are amazing. We love you so much. Couldn't do this without you. You guys are the bread and butter, the peanut butter to my jelly, all of that. You guys didn't see because of the graphic, but Oxie did a little heart. He did it on the screen for everyone, but it was all covered up. Just wanted to tell you about it. Thank you to the Wise Old Man.
Thanks, Michael.
Now is the time when we give a shout out to our KBD patrons. You guys are also the bread and butter and the bee's knees. And what else is a good combo? Chocolate and peanut butter? Reese cups? I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much to all the KBD tier patrons. Huge thank you. And you're going to get a personal shout out now, starting with Broix70, Oxie's dad, my dad, Solo's dad, all of our dad, Cloud Kicker, Dicky Bird, XP Enjoyer, Gay Raccoon, who is now Bi Raccoon in the game because Pride Month, of all months, they took away his name again. So, love that. Hate that, actually. Come on, Imby Jones, Legend Gary, Lil Drakey, the Lord Jake himself, Mark, a.k.a. iSteam, Mike Oxmall, MT Birchfield, Reclinatus, Rylithian, Satanbot 666, Skooma 92, Spartan Fire, Taco Ninja, the Big G Jordy, the Crayola Crayon, Toast No Toast, and Tiz Talk Coots. Thank you again, everyone in the KBD tier. You guys blow our minds with the support. Like we put this tier on the Patreon thinking there's no way. And you guys blow our minds each time. That concludes. Oh no, you can find the Patreon at patreon.com/Xpwaste.
Michael doing his best Oxie impression this week with the Patreon.
I said it in the beginning, but I wanted to reiterate there. Speaking of Patreon, we're still kind of trying to figure out like the merch tiers. Oxie said it during the break, but I totally agree. Him and I need to sit down and just plan. Like we haven't done that in a while, and that's honestly going to be on the agenda to figure out like a merch tier where part of the money that you give us goes into a pool of money, and at the end of the quarter, merch is just sent to you. Like we don't have to do anything. Like we have to commission an artist to make it.
We're
but
never doing this T-shirt shit again the way we did it. It was horrible.
My gosh!
Are you up to date on the T-shirt issues, Solo?
No, I don't think so.
He's like, I've watched none of your content. So we did.
I told you I've watched like 4 of them.
Hey, that's more than most people.
We set a Patreon goal last year, and when we hit that goal, we said everyone's getting a T-shirt, right? Mm-hmm. We tried to commission artists. We tried to do it ourselves. We had an XP Waster reach out to us and was like, hey, I heard about your issues with an artist. You're looking for like an American traditional style. I play RuneScape. I listen to XP Waste, and I'm an American traditional tattoo artist. Here's this design. You guys can have it for free. We paid him anyway because we're like, this is too good. We need like licensing rights for this and all that. Or maybe he charged us a fee as the artist. Frankly, I don't remember, but we're like, either way, we need to give this man money for this design. We get the T-shirts designed and ready to go. And I think from getting the design from our artist to getting the t-shirt shipped out was 5 months, maybe.
Oh no.
Between
Yeah, I
like
think merch is a
printing
nightmare.
issues. Like the company didn't print the shirts correctly. They like weren't straight for some of them. Like we had lots of issues, you know.
It's crazy.
But
And then there's the ADHD brain that I have, where a box of shirts just sat in my office for like a month, and I'm just like, one of these days I'm gonna put them in, little baggies and
What's
slap
another
labels on
month
them.
on top of 4 months anyway?
Yeah,
you
and
were
then,
also
and
moving
then I
at
moved,
the time, so
and that
like,
at
you
a
know.
time. But they're out. Most of the shirts are out. The only ones that we definitively have to do now is all of the EU folks, because of like import taxes and like customs forms that I have to fill out. So there's like a list of maybe 15 people that still need shirts. They're coming this week. My plan this week is to go to the post office and just be that guy who's going to sit there and like, there's another one. There's another one. So shirts are coming. And all that to say, we're going to try and make it an easier process with Patreon. So be on the lookout for that. We'll definitely let you guys know. Well, that's going to do it for Patreon. Again, thank you guys so much. Moving on now to everyone's favorite section, the community question.
Is it everyone's
Last
favorite
week?
section?
Listen, it is. Last week, we asked you guys, what have you said in the past that made your friends not want to play Old School RuneScape? We have a fair bit of responses over on Spotify, so that's where I'll start. Iron Otis says, I told my buddy he could find a loyal wife in the game. He's been married and divorced twice, all by being cheated on. And you, you wonder why he didn't want to play. Damn.
Let's go.
That's savage.
Play
That is
Old School
savage.
RuneScape and maybe you'll get some bitches, or not a combination of phrases I ever thought would go together. Oh my god.
Oh. Next up, we have D2. I took my friend to the Wizard's Tower, gave him some mind runes, and told him to kill the lesser demon until he could telly to Varrock, then left. He hasn't logged in since.
Oh man.
Why the lesser demon? You can safe spot guards. Why? That's so bad. Next up, we have Alex. They said, I said it was a long grind, but the rewards are worth it, and he gave up after 20 range levels. That counts. That's the problem, is you guys are giving these people super bad expectations. Next up, we have Nathan G. They said, I've been brutally honest and straight up, said it's a time commitment game and a completionist / competitive player's wet dream, where there are a ton of drops to collect and everything has a leaderboard. I mean, I feel like if you're going to say anything, that's get the expectations right on the table. And if that's what they like, then that's what they like, you know? Next up, we have Brandon. Said, I was telling my friend how many thousands of hours I've spent to get my max / com cape on RS3. I mean, I guess a com cape is a big, like, from what I hear, a max cape is not that big of an achievement on RS3. Maybe it is now.
Maybe
but
it was respectable back when they did it though.
Maybe. Maybe. RSN Jumungo says, I told them it was a gaming equivalent of meth, and surprisingly, he wasn't interested. What? What? Okay. Gaming equivalent of meth. Real Crazy says, I had a friend that was mildly curious about trying OSRS since he saw that I played it so much, but he quickly fell off after I told him how much of a grind the game is, which I kind of regret saying. Listen, if they didn't want to play the game because you simply told them it was a grind, they couldn't handle it. I stand by that.
Michael said you're weeding out the weak ones.
You're weak. OSRS is not for the weak. Caleb says, wasn't on the Oxymorons bingo. I didn't even realize that was a thing when making my clan joke. Oh, this is a guy from last week. Then we asked, like, what would you name your clan chat? He said Oxymorons. But to answer this question, I tried to get my wife to join RuneScape and tried taking her through Tutorial Island. We quit before she even got to the rats. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Next up, we have Benjamin, who is actually Benny Beescape. They said, meet my girlfriend. Yeah, a lot of stuff you do is just sitting and doing the same thing for 10 hours. It's really fun. She did not think it was fun. Hey, honesty is the best remedy. Listen, you got to be upfront. It's going to take you 100 hours or more, maybe like 200 hours from 90 to 99 agility. I don't know. That's at rooftops. TWLGZ Twilgs says, I have 2,000 hours played and I'm nowhere close to completing the game. That's what they told somebody. That's brutally honest. Seymour says, I described OSRS as an atypical rhythm game, which then led to the in-depth conversation about tick cycles and movement-related graphical delay. I've never seen somebody's eyes glaze over so quickly. Wow. Dinosaur says, retro open-minded MMO is generally how I boil it down. Sounds all right on paper, but most people can't get past the graphics. RS is a hard sell, but I feel like RS will die when this generation dies. Oh, no.
That's the same problem I have with my best friend. Because, like, she could definitely find enjoyment playing Old School RuneScape. She thinks it looks too gross. Yeah. She's like, is there not a way to make it look nicer? I'm like, there's a 117 plugin. I've shown her the difference, and she's like, it looks just as bad with more shadows. Yeah. I'm like, well,
looks like deep fried.
Sorry,
in
man.
117 if you turn off, like, it goes both ways. If you turn off 117, everything looks so bland. But if you go straight to 117, everything looks deep fried. It's kind of crazy. There's no in between. Unless you get the HGOS plugin or the HGOS client, which they don't have enough plugins yet. Oh.
No, I've never been one for the HD stuff. I quite like the old graphics. I don't know. It's just nostalgic, isn't it? Simple.
I feel like 2009 to 2011 was kind of like when I stopped playing.
Yeah.
For the most part. But I played probably the most during that time. But then I quit. So HGOS it's got that nostalgia factor for me. Yeah. Chris R says, I told my engineering friend that 92 is halfway to 99, and I explained how XP is exponential. He now understands my struggle as an Iron Man. Hey, at least he understands. That's all you can ask for. Maybe he won't play, but he's like, pat you on the shoulder, like, it's going to be okay. Alexander says, Post Malone does play RuneScape. It was an interview a few years ago. He was talking about Ulm. That's another callback to last week when I DM'd Mr. Post Malone himself asking if he wanted to play RuneScape. I don't have that kind of street cred to where he'll read it, but
not yet anyways.
Not yet. And finally on Spotify, Mr. Millen says, I told my two closest friends that 92 was halfway to 99 and they never logged back in. Why does that bother people so much? Like, is it just a thing where you think you're progressing and then you like, oh, this is only halfway?
Yeah, tiny.
I don't know. That to me, that to me, I don't know. I feel like that's more of a, oh, haha, not a, I'm going to not play this game. All right, that is it on the Spotify side. Next, moving on to the YouTube replies. Same question. What have you said in the past that made your friends not want to play RuneScape? Matthias says 8,000 hours to max without getting much of the PVM items needed for late game. My wife is not interested in starting UIM, to say the least. What? Straight to UIM? I feel like that's the
What did we say last week?
Not the
Solo
move.
Mission last week we talked about the best ways to get your friends to start playing Old School RuneScape. What did I say? What was the rule?
Ignore Iron Man.
Don't
no Iron Man.
start with Iron Man. Don't do it. You said, how do I start with Iron Man? But worse. It's
the
your
worst Iron
Matthias. Try a new strategy.
Yep. Brandon B says 92 is halfway to 99. Again, we got to stop saying this, people. Got to stop saying this. 10,000 Slugs says, look how badass my character looks. Or shows a photo of a Bandos and Dragonheart Lance. And all they got was disgusting. Well, you know, I guess like achievements like a piece of gear literally could just be, it could be anything to anyone.
Yeah,
So-
that's true. Yeah, because they have no value
just
in
have
that at all.
Yeah.
So it looks shit.
I'm looking at armor and like World of Warcraft. I'm like, your guy looks cool.
The only piece of
No, it took
equipment
10,000 hours.
people in real life for me have ever given a shit about was my Infernal Cape. To the point where like my mom would text me and be like, "Do you have that thing you're going for yet?" I'm like, "No, why are you reminding me?"
Oh,
Like, I died on wave 67 because I'm bad. Don't remind me. Like,
it became a way of life for you. Like for those year and couple months that you're doing it.
yeah, it's a long time.
Next up on YouTube, we have Jordy that says, I was telling them why I have so many hours in one game, showed them that the XP rates, I showed them the XP rates and how much time it can cost. The issue is also they don't know the game, not even played as a kid, and aren't interested because it's not attractive to them in any way. Yeah. So in summary, they never played as a kid and the graphics suck. Because that's the only thing that gets people back is like the nostalgia, and then you get hooked again. But if they didn't have the nostalgia, what is the hook? There is none. There literally is none. Unless you're like, hey, it's a fun game, I think you would enjoy it. But there's other MMOs I feel like out there that are probably more fun. Valeric says, complained about going dry on something and how long it had taken me. Yeah, that'll do it too. And finally, Casual Spider. It's a fun name. Longtime lurker, just listening to you on my holiday in sunny Portugal. You need to go to Nightmare Zone and imbue your Slayer helm. Salve. They were telling them, you'll need to go to Nightmare Zone to imbue your Slayer helm, salve, B-ring, archers, and eventually a suffering. Enjoy. Hey, actually, shout out to Team D for this one. You can go to the PvP arena and get an imbue scroll, and then you could just swap that scroll through all the other things you want to imbue. And apparently it's a lot faster.
What happens when you need more than one imbued piece of content? The Salve Amulet E being imbued specifically from the Nightmare Zone as part of the Ardoin Elite Diary.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm. You're going to have to enjoy Nightmare Zone eventually.
Damn. Well, that's going to do it for the community question, guys. Thanks so much for answering last week's question. This week's question is, what is the sweatiest thing that you've done in RuneScape? Bonus points if you use ChatGPT to answer it for you.
Briefly.
Find the community
Please,
question.
for the love of God,
Briefly,
make it
right?
a brief.
We don't need the
5-paragraph
7
essay.
paragraphs.
Yeah.
But just be like in one sentence, ChatGPT, answer this question. But you can answer this week's question on the community question section on Spotify or the pinned comment of this YouTube video. Gonna throw it over to my lovely co-host now, Oxie, for everybody's second favorite section,
You're right.
the achievement of the week.
Behind the fun question, this is everyone's second favorite section. It is time for achievement of the week. It is, for people who are new to the show, like Solo Mission, for example. It's a time where we, take a minute to shout out people who, within the last week, have done cool stuff in our Discord and posted about it. We're going to kick things off in the skilling category this week. We're just going to go straight down. Skilling, combat, miscellaneous this time around. So, LA Clips achieved 99 range. Matt RSM achieved 99 strength. 99 Cum achieved 99 strength as well. I know it's Clout 99 in Discord, or Clout 9. It's 99 Cum forever. Wagoner achieved 99 fishing. It is now 3 99s away from their max cape. Bronze Yone, in addition to getting 99 construction and one of the best capes in the game, pre-max cape, also achieved 2200 total level. Skywalker, not Skywalker, Skywalker. It's like purpleless walker now in Discord, I think it is. Got 99 strength. For Vitney, cruising through the shittiest skills in the game with 99 rune crafting. Jack and Clubs achieved 99 thieving. And last night, within like 3 game ticks, Emeritas achieved 99 smithing, firemaking, prayer, and construction. There goes the bank.
Oh, wow.
But congratulations to you guys in the skilling category. Moving on down to the combat category this week, we got one fire cape. Cheesecake, who's apparently a long-time listener and a long-time lurker, achieved their first fire cape. That's the shit we love to see right there. There's someone here who I'm pretty sure you say their name skipped foreplay, and that's a pretty creative. Well, it's like skip D4 play. It's a skipped foreplay. A creative name. Got their first gauntlet. And then Folk Bear, who we will see later on in this segment as well, got their first corrupted gauntlet on their UIM, which, it's cool. You don't have anything in your inventory in the gauntlet anyway, and you don't get any.
Listen, getting there though.
Is gauntlet just UIM content? Like
maybe.
There's no bank. There's only 28 inventory slots. Gauntlet is UIM. Like, it's really short-term UIM simulator. Huh. Well, that changes my outlook on that entirely. Continuing on, we've got some fancy kits. Strom got their Missouri crafting kit, and Dazman got his Fang kit this week. So, another snazzy Fang in the clan. And then finally for combat, Busco Beep achieved his Elite Combat Achievement Diaries. Do we think we can start coining the term for combat achievements like Oxy style? You know how they have like animal style fries? Can we have like an Oxy style combat achievement where you just like green log that tier?
Sure.
You know?
It's called elitist, but yeah.
Solo mission. As your camera gets darker and darker as time goes on here, how do you feel about the changes to the combat achievements?
It's actually not dark in here. I don't know why it looks so dark.
Where'd you go?
It's not that bad. Well, the changes in the combat achievements. I think they're good changes. I was personally a fan, even though I've already done GM, so I've already suffered through all like doing Temporos and all that stuff. But I think it's
yes. Historically, the worst task of getting the Grandmaster combat helmet, the Temporos bit.
Yeah, I did stuff like killing loads of boss giants because they had really high kill counts. I had to do all those terrible bosses, and then they lowered them all, and it was all for nothing. So,
well, Oxy's like his grievance is the fact that you don't actually have to do every single task, and then it's just like easy mode.
For the it's the cosmetics that bother me, man. The perks are
cool. Like all or nothing. Why would I just don't understand your logic behind. You get this, but you don't get this, but you get it.
Listen.
Let it go.
Listen. Just let me be upset about it, okay?
Okay, you should be upset. My apologies.
But that is once again not to take away from Busco Beep's achievement. You now have the Jad helm, which is still the coolest helmet in the game. Finishing this achievement of the week off with the miscellaneous category, 4 whole quest capes this week. Voltoro, Folk Bear with the double this week, Zigzag, and De La Gente. Go check out the Dorks and Daggers podcast, and maybe you'll hear all about that. 4 quest capes. Additionally, to wrap things up, Skalaxin achieved their diary cape, and kind of an interesting one for achievement of the week this week. Normally, we don't shout out non-RuneScape achievements, but the people in the chat thought it was cool and they wanted it shouted out. Jimothy achieved his 4th baby, is what I see here. So congratulations to Jimothy. Your father 4 times over. So shout out to you, Jimothy, nice. And everyone else who achieved something awesome. If you did something awesome,
sorry, it's harsh.
I got that same joke whenever I became a father.
It's one hell of a pet joke right there.
Oh gosh, it's not problematic at all. Anyway,
if you achieve something awesome and you want to tell us about it, head over to discord.gg/OSRSTNL. We always say every week, certifiably the best. We had Solo Mission during the break, right? Like a 40-page review of the Discord. Sure enough, there's like one sentence that he's like, this could use some work. The other 39 and a half pages, best Discord on the planet. So,
absolutely.
Now we're endorsing it for him.
We can't lie about that.
Yeah, he would never lie about that. We're definitely not.
I've read all of these channel names. They look great.
We are definitely not going to get a deep fake solo mission AI audio to endorse our Discord. But if we were, but head over to our Discord. As we always say, we don't discriminate. We love your achievements, whether it is, 55 rune crafting to get your quest cape or the Infernal Max cape or a Fang kit. We don't care. We like to see the cool stuff that you guys do because we think it's cool. We have lots of other channels as well. And as always, the VCs are usually pretty active. So if you need a raid team, boy, do I have the Discord for you. That link will be in the description down below. Now, folks, it is time we head over to what is truly everyone's favorite section.
Yeah.
Michael and or solo mission. Do you guys have a fun question for us this week?
So the fun question is, which 3 NPCs would be the worst NPCs to take with you on a raid?
Wow. What a creative.
What a crazy fun question.
This is the part of the show we take the least serious of them all.
True.
So this is generally leads to the most fun.
We got any
I have
contenders?
nothing, so I'm gonna need a minute to think. I'm just mid farm run right now.
I mean, we could say some newbie NPCs, but I feel like that's too easy. What are some
course it's
genuinely annoying NPCs that like?
Who's that guy from Sins of the Father? Is it Ivan Strom, that kid who's like, I'm gonna kill vampires and has like a wooden shield?
Okay.
Who dies
from
like
from
all the
temple trekking? Yeah.
yeah.
The guy you have to carry her.
So,
that could be up there.
He would be pretty bad. Oh God, who else? I feel like as much as she's like a fan favorite, Xanax's whole purpose
also useless.
is to get picked up by NPCs. Like that is all Xanax does, and like all the quests is she's like she gets like does she get kidnapped by ham members?
Yeah.
I think maybe she gets stolen by the box in Land of the Goblins. She has no combat. She does kill a few people with a bow and crossbow. So,
true.
that's your ranger for Nilo room right there. We're setting up. That's a.
What about the guy?
Oh, right, because you're in a raid. I forgot about this.
On the same theme, the guy in Dream Mentor, he's just like scared of everything. Sirius or whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah.
You have to gear him up and he hits a 1 at the end. I don't know. It's kind of bad.
Somebody was saying an imp. An imp would be the worst? Yeah, they have like 6 HP.
And they tell you away. When anything gives
And
you.
they tell you away. They're so scared. So do we want to say like NPC or boss?
Okay,
It's
if
like a
you're
boss
going
raid.
to a raid with another boss, like there's no, like even Obor. Like, come on.
What's the giant mole, doing to Ohm?
Absolutely the worst. Only melee. He only melees. So like, what rooms is he good in?
He's doing melee
If we're
hand.
talking,
that would be the absolute. That'd be the.
Oh wait. Mole in chambers. He digs under and he attacks Ohm from like the ground
joke.
because Ohm is like.
I'm
standing up in the
thinking the
ground.
opposite problem. Mole digs and messes up the set. The head is now the other direction. We're getting specials because we can't mage skip. Mole digs at P3 Verzik. Verzik has to run across the arena to catch him, switches tanks, melees, kills the whole team right there because we're not paying. Mole would be the worst in a raid, I think. So maybe I take it back. Maybe bosses are not all shoe-ins to be good at raids.
Kraken, you can't even
pretty
move. Man.
shitty.
just can't even run head.
Do we get the
Just
chip
can't
damage from the tentacles though?
Stuck in the water. I think what's his face? The thermonuclear smoke devil would also be kind of useless.
Yeah.
As far as a tier 93 boss goes, it's fairly disappointing.
Typeless
in my
damage
opinion.
every 2 or 3 ticks. That's pretty solid.
But like, what damage though?
Shit
Just
adds
like
up
smoke
over
damage?
time.
Yeah, you're not going to convince me on that one.
All I'm saying is some of us here have died to Thermi before, and some of us here know that Thermi's a little tougher than you might think, you know? Even when you have 1,000 or so KC. It's, sometimes you ego it, Michael, and sometimes you don't make it.
You ego it? You're
Sometimes
like, surely
you
this
ego
won't
it.
hit a 5,
You don't
right?
want to use supplies. Your redemption's already procced. You just got to hit, and you don't hit.
Oh
you know?
my gosh. Well, yeah. I mean, that's just kind of being a gamer.
That's a word.
So some of the guys in the recording booth, Mima says the Goblin Cook, Evil Dave, and King Rolled. King Rolled. So I just did, what is it? Darkness of Hollowville. Maybe it was. Anyway, it was one of the Mauritania quests, and you have to go talk to him and try and get aid from Varrock because they're crossing the River South. And he's like, he gets a lot of crap, but like in that moment, he was ready to send troops. But it was the advisor that was being the dickhead. You know what I mean? So I don't know if we should give King Roll that much. He doesn't deserve the heat, is what I'm trying to say.
What about
Oxy hates King Roll. But yeah, he's not a good one. No, definitely not.
Evil Dave would be pretty useless as well.
What does he do other than just
He's
be
in his
like
mom's
a
basement.
degenerate? He's in his mom's basement.
That's literally all he does.
Wait, could he? I mean, you could give him a sword, right? Like, or is he only locked to what items he has currently in his hands?
I think that
That's
makes
nothing.
it more fun. You know, locked to what items
Makes it
they
harder?
have. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Taco Ninja says Prince Ollie. He couldn't even get out of the jail himself.
I feel like that's an unfair critique. If you're locked in a jail cell, I think the point is that you don't get out.
Did you
What
don't
do you
get out?
mean you can't escape jail?
You know how annoying, if we're talking like quests NPCs, Romeo,
Oh,
freaking
yeah.
annoying.
He's just talking to
Hey,
the whole, yeah.
I know we're in TOB, but if, like,
Yeah, true.
have you seen Juliet?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to bring them as a pair as well.
Hold on now.
So he
Hold
can
on.
sit
You guys aren't thinking big enough. You guys aren't thinking big enough. Romeo laying down the Riz at Lady Verzik? Just think about it for a
Would he
minute.
cheat on Juliet though?
He already did with the
He
cousin.
goes, the ginger
Oh,
one.
that's true. Well, he thought she was dead. I don't know if that's like he's
So
moving on.
kill the
He's cheating on
cousin,
her.
bring him to top. It's easy.
Bring it to top. Well, you could. So we didn't really get like a definitive list, but I feel like that's fine.
Yeah, we're doing an 8-man TOA. It's okay.
Oh, right.
We're cycling through. We're going from 8-man TOA to like 100-man scale chambers at this point. Which God.
How about we just say all the NPCs in the game are terrible? Like, is there non-boss? Are there any NPCs you would take on a raid besides the Wise Old Man?
Wise old man.
Neve?
I feel my first response is Neve, but it doesn't feel fair because we all know what happens there. But like any Slayer Master is probably a good choice.
Yeah,
True. Duradel, he would actually, of the Slayer Masters, I feel like Duradel with his rune claws would do some damage.
There are some like mercenary NPCs outside TOB with like ancestral on and stuff.
Well,
Really?
they all do canonically really bad in the theater. You can find them doing really bad.
They just bought tons of bonds. I see.
They took the major's shoes. You can find him laying dead next to the pillar. He doesn't have feet, and they hang up his feet with all the other parts. Yeah.
He's already
You can find all three of those. For the listeners who've not done TOB, all the NPCs that are there before you complete a Taste of Hope are all in TOB. I think the Major is dead in Bloat, the Ranger is dead at Nilo, and then the Meleeer is decapitated on the ground at Zarpus. Like if you look beyond the pit where it spawned. So maybe, I don't know if I go with those three, but...
You take like
if you're... The Meleeer did solo Sodaseg.
True.
So, it's pretty impressive. I don't know.
It's so funny because in this one, when they died, it wasn't the cage for them. It was just like insta-death. Can you imagine if they had like hardcore TOB where if one person dies, it's a team wipe?
That would be so annoying.
Is that a thing? That's not a thing, right?
No, that's
Hardcore wipe, like
not
if-
hard. That's not hard mode.
Yeah, you have like essentially, however many lives of people, but one person dies.
for the whole
Each
raid.
player
I'm just
has
sitting in the
each-
cage for the entire raid.
Each player has one life. That would be fucked. You just ruin
Could make it a lot harder.
Ruin
I mean, there's
everybody's
people who do
time at Bloat.
hard mode
like,
deathless all
hit
the
him,
time.
hit him with the not the bees right there at the very first down, and everyone,
Not the bees.
the whole team is just fucked. Oh god.
Well, thank you, Oxie, for that fun question.
Oh, I didn't have. What do you mean?
Oh,
I
it's
didn't
my
ask that
question.
Oh, no,
Actually.
sorry. Thank you.
Completely
Michelle, for that
original
fun-
question. No,
Thank you
you're
so
welcome.
much.
How
for
dare
that
you? Honestly.
Original question. Guys, it is the end of the episode. Solo Mission, thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you for the ambition, I guess, to be a little sweatier than we have been, because we are Xpwaste. And I don't know, maybe one day I'll get a quest speedrun cape like you. But anyway, you have a YouTube channel.
I do, yeah.
And people can find you. Where can people find you?
Solo Mission on YouTube. My second channel is Mission Solo. Conveniently named.
Oh, nice.
They're two completely different people where I turn into a different person. Well,
I think I actually found your other channel a while ago, back when I was watching your Grandmaster stuff, I think. And it was just like music videos.
Yeah.
Like just like the music compilations. The Dua Lipa ABBA mashup. That
Yeah, I've played that so many times that I can't listen to it anymore.
I love that song. But it's not on Spotify, unfortunately. It makes me real sad. But
So it's just Solo Mission on. Do you use Twitter or Instagram or any of those very much?
Solo Mission _OSR on Twitter. I don't tweet too much though. I wouldn't worry about Twitter.
So it's OSR, not OSRS?
I know, yeah, it's OSR. What a blunder that was. I don't know why I did that.
Absolute mumpty. Absolute mumpty. Anyway, that's the end of the show, people. Thank you so much for listening. We love you so much. I'm not even going to plug our stuff because it doesn't matter. We have Solo Mission here. You can find all the things you want to find in the description of the episode. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.